They've been knocked from pillar to post, round after gruelling round. They've been out on their feet. The Power have copped 19 losses for 2 wins and are tilting at the title nobody wants. Wooden spooners.
So how come the Demons? It's gone a bit pear-shaped for them on and off the field, hasn't it?
The Demons have had a season of soul search, having lost their way and their coach. But hey, it's September and their boat still stands. The final round. Last chance for young and old to stake their claims for another ride on the football merry-go-round.
This is a sign they're on. Look at them come from everywhere.
Today is a noteworthy occasion when the Adelaide Oval becomes the 39th arena in history to host an AFL-VFL round. And it's the last chance for the Demons and Power to finish 2011 on a high.
So how come the Melbourne Demons? They're looking for their 9th win for the year. They could finish with 2 in a row. It's been a tough old season. We know all that. But they're playing at the Adelaide Oval on this beautiful day in Adelaide. This would have been a very hard match to promote had it been at Amy. But the hill is absolutely buzzing behind me right now. The atmosphere is electrifying. And out come Port Adelaide. So Port Adelaide, just the 2 wins. If they can win today, they'll hand over the wooden spoon to the Gold Coast Suns. Let's go down to Richo, who's got Matty Primus.
Well, Matty, how good's this place? It must be great to be out here playing on the Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, look, it's a unique stadium. It's certainly close to the city, and our supporters are certainly coming in full force today.
Yeah, plenty of motivation today, mate. A win and you will move above the Gold Coast, and you've got Dean Brogan playing his last game, a warrior for your club.
Yeah, look, we've got a few things to focus on, but yeah, we want to see the kind of effort and competitiveness they played with last week. If we do that, the result will take care of itself.
Some positives late in the season, and particularly John Butcher. Tell us about his development.
Yeah, look, it's we know Butcher's got some talent. We've been pretty surprised by what he's been able to do for us, but we just want him to compete in the air and when the ball's on the ground, and he'll get his rewards from that, which is at the moment giving him some goals.
Good luck, Matty.
Cheers, Richo.
Thank you.
Good stuff, Richo, with Matty Primus. Have a look at this famous Adelaide Oval with the scoreboard, an iconic sporting symbol in Australia. The Bradman stand, that'll be the first to come down. We'll never see this oval again as we see it now. It'll be very different in season 2014. Right in the middle, in fact, probably a centre-half forward right now is Tim Watson.
Thanks, Macco. Well, we heard Matty Primus already talking about John Butcher. He has been extraordinary in the last 3 games, kicked 11 goals, won there. You may not buy him at the yearling sales. He does look a little bit untidy. But the other extraordinary thing about him in his recent performances has been the fact that he averages more contested marks than he does uncontested marks. Now, that is a real oddity in modern-day football. He's become hot property. During the week, the Port Adelaide have been fighting off other clubs. They're very keen to secure his services next year. His manager, Paul Connors, flew across during the week. They had some very high-level talks, and there is some suggestion around here today that he will, in fact, re-sign with Port Adelaide, which would be a great thing for the club. Absolutely glorious out here in the middle of Adelaide Oval. It's up to you, Dennis.
Yeah, good on you, Tim. Only his 4th game. It would be remarkable if he could leave this club. He represents hope. Now, all week I've been talking about Melbourne winning this one. I tipped them, but I took a look at the 2 teams this morning, and I've got to say, I doubt they can. It's remarkable. They should look more often. Melbourne have made 3 changes. Scully and Jarrah join a long list of quality players who aren't playing today. But I guess the biggest question to my mind is who's going to kick the goals to win for the Demons. It won't be this guy, although he was terrific last week. Sam Blease, number 46, as you can see, just 20 years of age, possibly best on ground last Sunday at the MCG against the Gold Coast Suns. But a guy that might find Blease alongside him is Robbie Gray, coming off 6 goals last week and a real bargain in the 06 draft. He was taken in the 50s. He's on fire at the moment, Gray, and certainly one of their hardest triers. So the stage is set. You've heard about it. Just a pretty day in Adelaide. Big crowd, carnival atmosphere. We can't wait for this game to get started. It's Port Adelaide against Melbourne. Famous for those churches, but a heck of a lot more. Long queues outside the ground, flooding in now as we wait for the toss.
Ian, are we doing the coin toss? Brad, your call when you're ready, Ian. Tails? Heads? Heads it is? Okay, thanks.
So Brad Green wins the toss. Talking about those goal kickers for Melbourne. And there it is on that famous scoreboard that Bruce was talking about. Some magnificent names have been up there, part of Australia's sporting folklore. Now Melbourne, with Green contributing so many goals, have to find some alternatives this afternoon. It'll be interesting too to see if James Frawley plays on Butcher or Schultz. James Frawley, and there's Troy Chaplin, a key defender for the opposing side, just pulling up his socks. He starts the day with 105 marks, so add some today and he's almost certain to finish in the league's top 40 for 2011. Two fine defenders, Frawley an All-Australian last year, runner-up in the best and fairest to Brad Green. Pretty sunny day. Let's take a look at some of the key components that should make this a memorable afternoon.
Well, we've already spoken about, Dennis, about John Butcher and his impact on the game in the last 3 weeks. He's been very accurate. There he is heading into the forward line. Whether or not he gets picked up by Frawley or Garland or even Rivers, I think that'll depend on whether he actually plays deep. But we've seen some success against Melbourne by almost sacrificing the guy that Frawley goes to and just taking him out of the equation. They've got some real goal-scoring power down there. And Blease last week earned himself a NAB's Rising Star nomination for his game. His running off half-back was as devastating as I think I've seen any running of a half-back flanker. And there's Jack Watts, and he's probably going to have to even do more than what he's been capable of, shown he's been capable of doing this year because of the fact that Jarrah's out of the size. We just see Rivers just trying to unsettle Butcher before the first bounce.
Well, if you like your history in the sunshine, we've had the bounce, still hangs in the air, and we're underway at Adelaide Oval. Taken by Maloney. He's in trouble immediately, and the umpire will have to do it again. The umpires this afternoon, Stewart, Ryan, and Schmidt. There's Schmidt, the local man, bouncing it alongside the centre circle. Slobey locks up with Jamar. Jamar hooks it down. Roden so good last week. First kick sends it down towards half forward. Blease so good last week. Came across on the angle. McDonald flips a hand pass over the top. Trengove missed the hand pass. In goes Maloney. Picked it up. Opportunity for O'Shea. Taken down by Bennell. Got a whistle, and the umpire will ball it up. Bruce, you must feel very proud today as a South Australian. Terrific, isn't it?
It's a great day to be here, Dennis, for sure. I mean, I saw my first grand final here in 1963, so saw a lot of great footy. Port won 6 consecutive grand finals when I was a little boy growing up. So, yeah, good stuff. Terrific to see so many people out here today.
Macca, I was just going to ask you a question about the Guard of Honour that was assembled too for the current day players to run out between. I mean, they would have seen some great stars of yesteryear from Port Adelaide that they actually had to eyeball before they come out onto the arena.
I reckon Brett Ebert would have known one of them because his dad played more games for Port than anyone. But yeah, all good stuff. Let's see if they can do it on the field today, because Melbourne hopefully will be as hungry as Port. Last game of the year is a different dynamic, isn't it? But this one's different again. So Surgeon and Morton, well played by Morton. He's had not a great year. Trengove should get a free kick, he will. And the advantage is given. So Pearce over the top. And that one cut off, though. And a chance for Bale back in the team. Belts the ball forward. And that ball not quite getting... And that bounce is interesting. Tim, you've been out there. That is a different surface to what we normally
It's a very, very spongy ground out there, and I reckon it'll take its toll on the players' legs come three-quarter time.
Did you take your keys out there? Penetrometer. There's Motlop. O'Shea. Back to Motlop. Drives it down towards half forward. Rivers from behind gets her fist on it. In front of the pack, Garland a half chance with the flow of the ball. Jamar went to ground, dug out of there nicely by McDonald. Bennell released. Plenty to choose from. Storming through is Trengove. They're not related, these two Trengoves, one on either side. Now an opportunity. This is Fitzpatrick. Sending it down towards full forward, and it goes the wrong way. So Fitzpatrick, the youngster, has started on the ground today. They're blooding players too as we go down to Richo.
Just saw that turnover from Port Adelaide before, and this ground here particularly, it's long and narrow. You wouldn't want to turn the ball over anywhere. It feels attacking from any position on the ground.
So Kasisi in the front spot. Gee, McKenzie came hard. He started on the interchange.
He got up a little bit hurt there too. He always goes hard, Macca. That's a feature of his play, McKenzie, just limping a little after that collision.
He missed a lot of the early stages. Didn't play until round 10, McKenzie. They missed him early. He's such a hard nut. So here's Jackson Trengove. Jacko, they call him, at Port Adelaide. So Jack Tringove and Jackson Tringove, as Dennis said, no relation. One lives in Adelaide and plays in Melbourne. One lives in Victoria and plays in Adelaide. That's AFL footy. It's good. It's exciting. Back to Salopek. He's one of about 8 players that Port have sort of brought back in the last month or two to see if they can do anything. Motlop back to Salopek, running hard.
Drives it down towards half forward. Playing for a kick was Banner, not forthcoming. Martin to Maloney. He's at left half back, goes back towards the middle. Brogan in his farewell game. Draw from the crowd, kicks it long down towards full forward. West off, almost knocked away. Opportunity for Maloney, took a long while, comes to Cassisi, smothered brilliantly by Bale, trying to crash his way through Garland. Brogan went down. Gray was told he ducked his head, it was news to him. He knew somebody whacked him and has gone. Away comes Crawley, well played to Bale to Martin. Martin storms through centre half back, kicks it down towards half forward. Gathered by Jetta. Morton is on. Morton is running towards goal. Should gather the footy, should go in, and Melbourne will get the first goal of the afternoon.
Just look at the space that he's kicking into there, and all he had to do was lay the ball out in front of the 2 Melbourne players. They could have raffled that. In the end, it was Morton that was able to pick it up and kick such a simple goal, and that's a promising start for Melbourne.
That famous scoreboard, doing its stuff, so registering a goal. So yeah, Morton, as Tim said, big day in front of him. So out of the centre, Broadbent, and Ebert, 150th game today. I reckon that's nice synergy, isn't it? A milestone match for an Ebert on this ground. Now his dad, a lot of his footy was at Footy Park, but he's also had an underwhelming season. But at the knee operation last year, he's never quite got going this year. Spectacular season in that grand final year of 07. Gee, struck that well. So an Ebert gets the first goal for Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. That rings pretty well.
It's always great to get an early one, isn't it? Doesn't matter which position you might play on the ground. If you can find yourself in a position to kick a goal, to strike it beautifully like he did, and really good ball movement out of the centre from Port.
Maloney goes in, applies a tackle, and finds the footy on the deck. McKenzie, Trengove, only about 10 metres. Jamar hurriedly inside the forward 50. Melbourne appear to have come to play as they like to say. Carlisle, little 1-2 with Trengove. Goes out wide. This is Logan. Well, Tommy Logan did it last week as well. He comes out pre-bandaged. On the outer side, Ebert goes down towards half forward, misjudges what was going on down there. Butcher was on the lead, and he kicked it over his head. Rivers has got it. That's the way Logan plays. Why wait to put the bandage on? Just run out there with the bandage on in the first place.
You know it's coming, don't you?
That's right. It's just a matter of time. He knows. We're not fools. Well, we are. Towards the wing, and a strong mark is taken by Gray.
Gee, this bloke's got some good hands. He was outstanding last week against the Bombers.
He's a good player, isn't he? In the 50s in the draft, too. I made that point before the game. What a bargain. Ball comes to Banner from Westhoff, and he kicks it out of bounds on the full. So it seems now that Port Adelaide have come to terms with all this crowd noise, and they're settling down.
It must be a great feeling, though. I mean, I know you're joking, but it must be a great feeling for the players to actually play in front of a big crowd at home. I mean, there's been miserable crowds for them all year.
So Martin front spot. Well, this has got a feeling of a really big South Australian League grand final of many years ago. That's the feeling that's here today. So don't get that chance too often. Surgeon takes the mark. Back to Motlop. He's a beautiful player, Motlop, when he's doing stuff like that. Just over to Logan, out wide. Gets it.
Oh, there now!
To Jonas.
Butcher's going.
Down the line. Now Butcher front. Shaw's big fly. Frawley and Rivers. So a couple of good defenders on the key forwards there.
He's got some good pace, Butcher, off the mark, though, too. He actually put another couple of metres between him and Rivers on that occasion, but they kicked the ball over his head.
Jamar and Lobe lock up. Lobe wins it down. Boca half chance. Eventually slacked out of there by McKenzie. Comes across from Bennell to Maloney. Goes around the outer side, close to the boundary. Pitches just inside, and Carlisle takes it out. You were talking about Russell Ebert. Games record holder, Bruce, for Port. They combine their records, do they? I mean...
Well, that's a good point. 392 for the Port Magpies. So He's got the all-time record. I think they should, and I think they probably do.
I saw his dad play a game at the MCG prior to State of Origin against Victoria. One guy, and this is no slap at the other guys in the team, one guy played Victoria for 3 quarters. That's how good he was.
4 McGarrys, eh? So it's just hard not to reminisce today, isn't it?
Well, it's about today.
Maloney's already up to 7 disposals, Maloney, so he's really started brightly. Only been averaging around 22 over the last month. In fact, that's been one of the problems for Melbourne. They haven't had really high possession players in their midfield.
So Logan outnumbered. Morton, McKenzie back to Morton. And then Morton's little kick inside. Martin. Good contest, but against Tringo.
That's it.
Martin's been good this year. He's a real athlete. He keeps that low. Jamar the target. He had a bit of it. Lobie did well. Gray let it spill out, and then Jones squeezes a kick to full forward. It was touched and going through. 4 are behind.
Actually, one of the real improvements in Martin's game has been his disposal, and even that kick then into the forward line was right on the money.
On that game's record, I ran into Warren Treadway on the way up here. He's working radio today, Dennis. He's got the 2.55 record for the power, so he's a good guy. We might have to leave it with him, but Russell's got the magpie one, eh?
Yep. So they bring it out of defence. The kick came from Salopek. It's a good kick too, close to the boundary. Lobie took the mark. Surgeon. Motlop into desperate trouble. Thought he should have got a free kick. Well, the whistle for holding the ball came a little after he was cuffed across the collar. Maloney sends it down towards full forward. Martin from behind. Big leap. It falls in front. Jetta got the crumb. Trying to manufacture something. Oh, aren't the players so adept now at doing that? It was en route to being a goal, but O'Shea got back on the goal line.
Time to send a message out to Maloney's opponent too. They've got to just tighten up on him. Now he's up to 8. 6 of those have been contested, so he's working hard inside.
So Tringove off a step, gets some reasonable distance. Jamar the big fly. Motlop, who's been productive. Frawley, he kept hold of him, Motlop. And then Jones, that was terrific stuff. To Maloney yet again. And then Garland with a long bomb in forward. Green went to ground. McKenzie gets through and kicks a goal. So Melbourne get their second.
So Jordy McKenzie get his first goal of the season. He's had 3 in his career. He's the sort of player who, like Logan, will eventually, I think, come pre-bandaged. It's back in the middle. Opportunity for Roden. Left it behind. Rogan and Gray apply some pressure to the man on the ground, Bale. Good to see Bale back. He's a quality young player. We liked him last season. Quick, can use the ball. Bounce inside the centre circles. Jamar only as far as Roden. Slips it away to Gray. Generally does something with the foot. He sends it inside the forward 50. Loose at the back. Frawley is the first man back. Wants it bounced. Doesn't get it initially. Has some support down there. Gave it to Garland. Garland gets away. Nicely worked. McDonald. Melbourne do well. There's Bale. We were talking about him up towards the wing. Bounces off the chest of Martin. Melbourne keep it going their way. Bates got the football now.
On the burst, Bate, and then controls the leg. Pretty good to Fitzpatrick. I reckon McDonald's been good down back already today. He was very good against the Suns last week in his debut. That's a good kick, and Watts takes the mark.
That's really good movement, isn't it, from one end of the ground to the other.
One of the reasons for that, Timmy, I reckon they've got a really tall forward line, Port Adelaide. Butcher, Schultz, Lobie and Westhoff are down there. The problem with that is it is rebounding far too easily, as you just noted then.
That's a really good point. They haven't really had much at ground level to be able to scoop up some of what's falling to the ground. Contested possessions, too, at this stage, 23 to Melbourne, 14 Adelaide, so they're getting smashed in the clinches.
Well, you get a great view of this, right, from the pocket. He's going to kick from about 49 metres. That's a good kick. That's coming back perfect. Not quite. Just the near side. So what struck it well. Melbourne doing a lot of the scoring here. 7 scoring shots, obviously, now to 1.
And up by 11 points. Pearce. Former rising star to bring it in. Certainly not his best season, but he's no author. Kicks it outside the defensive 50. High ball hangs in the air from behind Motlop. Only the one hand went up to engage the footy. Good hand pass, Bennell, gave it to Bartram. Bartram kicks towards the 50, taken by Morton. Morton, a high draft pick, as Tim alluded to, needs to stake a claim this afternoon. In and out of this side this year.
Dennis, his key position size too, isn't he? In terms of height, I mean, he doesn't have the body.
No.
But he's about 6'4" more.
And you just wonder whether he will get that body. It's a strange build, isn't it? It's pretty rich coming from me, but you know what I mean. Morton comes in, kick is on the way. That's a good kick. Look at that. Has it got the carry? Well, it did have, but it was offline or behind. So Melbourne may rue these missed opportunities, Bruce.
Yep, they've had a few. Port having trouble now getting it out, though. West off the target. Good contest in the front, though. Coming from Bale. Bartram, I should say. He, like Bale, getting back into the team late, but Bale hasn't played for such a long time. West off, re-signed this week.
Cassisi to Maloney at this stoppage. Looks like he's got the job.
Well, as you said, somebody had to do it. McKenzie, here he is again, Maloney. So Maloney just sets it up. They want a high flyer. Watts front spot. Green, can he get a handball away? Well, only as far as O'Shea. Roden, good give actually. That was brilliant by Roden to Pearce. Now, Shaw's in the front spot, gets the right bounce, goes back to Salopek on the left to Boak. I think it's the first time we've called Boak today. On centre wing, moves it quickly. Banner inside. Now Pearce on the good side for him. And Ebert couldn't quite. Big fly. Back he goes to Pearce. Pearce had Cassisi short. Then a raking kicks a beauty. Not held by Butcher. No free. Not Westhoff, I should say. No free kick. Gets it back Westhoff. And then Cassisi under the pump. Jones got hold of him, and Melbourne are going to maybe get it out. Not quite, please. What's happened here? It's a freedom of Port Adelaide.
Westhoff here. Come straight up.
Just good forward pressure then from Port Adelaide, and that's an area of their game that they've been really poor in this year. They're one of the worst in the competition for being able to actually lock the ball inside their forward line. I really like Pearce starting deep and kicking the ball in because it frees him up from the kick in, and we saw then he followed up on 2 occasions and was able to be involved in the play, and that's when he's at his absolute best, when he's running into some space.
So Westhoff, Ebert kicked a much harder one earlier. So Westhoff, who probably one of the most defining kicks of the year, he missed a goal after the siren against the Suns, and that one, gee, that was an awful kick.
Structurally, it looks good with Westhoff and also Schultz alongside Butcher. I mean, they've got some marking power, but I mean, the point that Richo raised earlier is a good one, and they need to have their little blokes camped underneath them.
Frawley kicks it short of the wing. Cassisi on his knees, stripped of the football. Well done, McDonald. Drives it down towards half forward, but ill-directed. Trengove. Last time we saw him, he was terrific against the Western Bulldogs. Lit it nicely off the boot. Every game now he's growing in stature. Showing his teammate, a much older teammate in Chaplin, what to do. Drive it to the outer side. There's Boak getting busy. Got it from Salopek. So Boak drives it beyond the wing this time. Coming from behind Garland. Westhoff used his body well. Falls obligingly for Schultz. Gives it to Salopek. Loops it over the top. Lobe. What a beautiful hand pass for look-away job. Goes down inside the forward 50. Offhands it. Runs free at the back. Lees gets back. Gets a hand pass on the bounce to Trengove. Motlop in 2 minds. Trengove feeds it forward. Taken by Rivers. Rivers, the short one to centre-half back. And they move it brilliantly. It comes to Frawley. Came from Bartram. Goes to the outer side. Well done, Lobe.
He's had a couple of moments, hasn't he? He did cut that off, and his handball a moment ago, as you said, Dennis, was terrific. Back banner goes to Carlisle. And Bartram fell over. Now Carlisle kicks to half forward. Shows the target. Garland did well. Frawley. Westhoff, that ball close to the line. And going over. Let's go down to Matthew Richardson.
Dean, how are you seeing the game out there, mate?
Yeah, it's a really good contest at the moment. Yeah, I mean, they've been inside 50 a lot more than us, but, oh, mate, it's just after 10 weeks, mate, it's like running around with your head cut off.
Is it harder to get the ball movement going on this narrow ground, just with your kick-ins?
Oh, look, it's a bit different for both teams, you know. We've only trained here once, and yeah, I think both teams are struggling with the width and the whole look of the place. It's really different at AIM Stadium.
Thanks, mate.
No worries, thanks, mate.
Well, I don't think any apologies are necessary. We're loving this at the moment. Maybe we're caught up in the moment as well, but good stuff. Jamar appear to be held. No free kick. Knocks it down. Banner grabs the football. Goes down towards full forward. Lurking at the back is Rivers. Gets into his shuffle. and takes it through for a minor score, then immediately plays on. Frawley, the new Rivers, perhaps a little better, drives it towards the wing. That's not to put Rivers down. Wholehearted player. Down goes Trengove, almost in the back on Logan. O'Shea stripped of the football, knocks it to Trengove, not his intention. Now coming away with it, Bate stops right on the boundary line, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Jones slips away, gave it across to McKenzie, who thought Jones was there for the return. Jones wasn't. He was bundled out of it by Lobey, and as a result the indecision is penalised. A throw. Roden gets the footy.
Some good pressure by the Power there. So Roden gets close to the man on the mark in Jones and then just kicks it high. Butcher hasn't been able to really get his hands on anything so far today. And then Schulz.
What they're doing with Butcher, though, is actually they're kicking the ball on top of his head all the time, and it's quite slow, the movement into the forward line. Melbourne are shuffling themselves, so they're always going to have that extra player to compete in the air.
Kane calls there.
Dean Brogan.
So Brogan gets the free. Kane, who played for Glenelg yesterday against Port Adelaide.
So even if they go quickly here, Bruce, there's 2-on-1 in the goal square against Butcher.
He's going to set it up, Brogan. He didn't really get it, but at least Butcher had a run at that one, Tim, but there were about 3 players in the road. Benner gets it from Kasisi as a free kick.
High tackle! No, they've stopped here. High tackle here. Yep. No, he's kicking the footy. You can't be ducking him, he's kicking the footy. Have a look. Have a look. He's kicking the footy, mate. It's high. No, everyone stopped down there, mate, on the whistle. That's not advantage.
Here's the last kick into the forward line. Just watch that. I mean, there's Ebert actually competing in the air against Butcher. I mean, they've got to have more understanding about who's supposed to go for the ball and who's supposed to stay at ground level.
Got a lot of flyers up forward, haven't they? As both you and Richie have said. He's kicked 10 goals in his last 7 matches, Banner. He's had a good finish to this season. He struck that beautifully. And Port's accuracy, okay here. I know Westhoff missed one, but it's 2-1 to 2-7.
Magnificent vista as we look out across the Oval and up towards North Adelaide. I think I'm right, Bruce? North that way?
You've got it.
There's the bounce. Brogan waits for it. Comes back to him. Brogan breaks away. O'Shea still inside the centre square. On the lead is Motlop getting across on the angle. Garland. Well, he treated Motlop with no respect at all. He just played on, kicked it up to the wing. Maybe he picked his mark. Trengove comes out wide, bounces close to the boundary line, and out it goes.
We could get you a passport to live here if you like, Dennis.
It's a very nice city, Bruce.
So time in the forward half, about the same. 51 Melbourne, 49 Power. Trengove. And his family watching today. Being an Adelaide boy, McKenzie kicks to the pocket, and the other Trengove gets across and belts it over. It's a good young player. Well, they both are, aren't they? I mean, very different, obviously.
Melbourne Trengove's up to 9 possessions as well, so they're getting some real power around the stoppages with their midfielders.
It's Graham Corns. Lobey, another good handball. Salopek to Roden. And then Roden sweeps the handball to Gray, who wants the line. Just a quickie on Corns Senior. As
Let's go. Throw it in, throw it in, throw it in.
bit of a blue. We'll get to Corns Senior in a minute.
The combative players there. Salopek, he started pretty well too. Like him as a player. Puts it across towards Gray. Along the line by O'Shea. Now it's Westhoff in some space, driving it down towards half forward. Sun's a problem. Motlop works in front, does brilliantly. Oh, that was good. Now he wants to go. Running back is Logan. Just needed it out about 3 or 4 metres more. Well, he's marked it. No, he hasn't. Spilled it. Another couple of metres on that ball. Wider and longer. That would have been so easy for Logan. It was made difficult. But gee, the kick wasn't far off the money. Melbourne go around the outer side. Long ball down to Fitzpatrick. When you think back, Bruce, to the 50s and 60s, we've reminisced a fair bit, but these were the 2 stellar clubs of their respective competitions, weren't they?
Yep. And Melbourne won 5 premierships in 6 years, I think, from memory, and Port won 6 in a row in the 50s. So unbelievable, weren't they?
Amazing. Melbourne working it around. Here's Jones.
Working hard, Jones, and then banging the ball. It was a difficult one to mark. Martin. Lobey's had a good first quarter so far. See, Brogan was funny on Lobie during the week when he said he was going to play. He said, I've noticed Matthew's been playing well, but he gets tired in the last quarter. Thanks, Dean. I really needed that. Here is Lobie. This is why you get tired when you're a ruckman. I'd get tired doing that all day, wouldn't you?
Yes, the Russian hooking him up, flicks it down behind. Ebert miscues with a hand pass, goes again, pushed in the back, I fancy.
Straight up! What there, Jack?
Invariably, the umpires will pay that. Watch it again. So the one thing or the other. You're holding the ball or in the back, and they don't mind in the back. High ball, Frawley. Look at him go. Well played. Wonderful strength. Got a fist on it. Ball trickles towards the boundary. Lobie pushed across the line by Martin.
Good call, Dennis. I mean, that's one of the great things about Frawley, isn't it? His body strength. I mean, in a one-on-one contest like that, where two blokes are sitting under a high ball, 9 times out of 10, he's going to position his man exactly where he wants him and win that battle.
So Jamar's free kick.
Advantage.
And the advantage to Jones, to Maloney, to Jones. They're a good combination. Well done, O'Shea, though. And then Logan, that's a great handball. He releases O'Shea to Salopek. And they've messed this up big time. That was a great tackle from Green. Now, the kick was on because Broadbent was 40 metres in front, and they should have got the ball to him in a hurry.
That was a great smother. I don't know why he actually wanted to bounce the ball straight away, though. He needed to actually sprint with the first 10 metres, and then he could have looked up.
So that was a great tackle by Green. He was stationary when he applied that tackle. Out of the congestion. Floated down by Bale. Mark taken by Bate. Comes across the ground. His centre half forward. Jones has got it now. 52 metres out. Takes the man on the mark on. Kicks. This is close. I think he's got it. Nathan Jones. Every time we see him, he puts in a good one.
That's a good kick then from Bate across the ground to Jones, and such a competitor, Jones. He is the heart and soul type player, and he puts in, week out.
He's the only Melbourne player to have played every game this season, and he and Maloney have got 20 between them in the first quarter. Ebert just banged it forward. It wasn't a good kick. Frawley, well done, Westhoff. Just held him up. McDonald and Shawls. McDonald went to ground. Shawls strips him with the footy. Needs to get a handball. Should have used Banner. Had Banner short for the handball and kicks the ball high, and Rivers takes the mark.
Well, Banner should have worked hard to get across there in the first place. He was just jogging to get there, and then he ran to the attacking side, just hoping that it was Schultz that won the ball.
So Bale, first game since round 7, doing well. Morton's had a good opening term, wanting to slow it up. So the D's sitting on a comfortable lead. They've deserved it. Port have probably had a burst in the middle of the quarter. Jamar and Lobie. Lobie's had a good opening term, though. Maloney's had some good service from Jamar, and so has Jones.
Their midfielders just getting too much of the ball, aren't they? Maloney, Trengove and Jones, the top 3 possession gatherers for Melbourne in the first quarter.
Yep. Maloney with 12, Trengove with 9. There's Gray sending it deep into attack, but Melbourne again with the numbers back. Frawley just paddles it across the line.
Thanks, Justin. Keep coming out.
And for Port, Salopek's got 10. We're down to 33 seconds now. Margin is 10 points. It could have been bigger. 3-6-2-2. Melbourne have done a lot of attacking for a little return. And you get the feeling this game will turn. It's a pretty warm day too, so it's going to be a test for both these clubs to run it out. I think he'd be a proud man too. From the head of the AFL, Wayne Jackson. Big day for the city of Adelaide. And of course, more to come. They should be playing here, Bruce, what, in 2015?
2014, Dennis.
14, they say.
Probably not from round 1, but I mean, that would be the dream come true. But certainly 2014, the Bradman stand will go down pretty quickly, and then the Chapel stands after that.
Okay. And there will be a replacement for the Bradman stand, and another Bradman stand.
Well, I'm sure his name will be here.
You would hope so.
It will.
Tackle here.
Even I would get upset if there was a McAvaney stand and no Bradman stand. It's quarter time. Enjoyable return of football to Adelaide Stadium. Adelaide Oval 24-14. That's the scoreline. Melbourne on top, and Boak has decided he wants to take a kick after the siren.
He'd load up with a barrel here, wouldn't he? Go for the tour. Lay it across your boot.
Okay.
There it is. I reckon he's going for it too.
Okay. And he's got it too. Sweet as you like. That'll be a goal. As sweet as you like. Was it Charlie Sheen who got the last torpedo to go?
That's what I'm talking about!
Let's go down to Matthew Primus, and he's with Matthew Richardson.
Well, Matty, a good way to finish the quarter. Nice torpy, that one.
Yeah, he doesn't practice too many of them, but lucky come off.
How'd you see the quarter?
Oh, look, they were on top of us earlier. Maloney, I think his contested possession was well on top, so we've got to try and quiet him down. But we fought our way back into it, and we've probably just got to get our 4 tools in order down forward.
Who will you put onto Maloney? Have you put a tight tag on him?
Dom will play on him a little bit, and Boki might too.
Okay, thanks.
What about that shot at goal after the siren by Travis Bogue? Just getting onto the torpedo. Is there a sweeter feeling, Tim?
There is nothing sweeter than that, Dennis. Absolutely perfect, that was.
That is the best torpedo since Charlie Sheen's violent torpedo of truth tour, when he ran off the rails and went around the country putting his point of view, which no one understood. But even so.
Still don't.
Still don't, but
hasn't stopped.
hell of a name, the violent torpedo of truth tour. So quarter time and the margin is 4 points, 3-6 to 3-2. Loved it so far. What this game needs today, and this crowd and this location and this sunny day needs is a big finish. Hopefully we'll get that. They seem pretty evenly matched at the moment. Maloney goes after the football, tackles Gray in the process, and the umpire will do the business again.
Port needs some drive too from Kasusi, Bogue, Broadbent. Their midfielders. Melbourne have been on top in the first quarter.
Almost a free kick there to Brogan. He slaps it forward. Going back, Bennell thinks about the hand pass. Now decides to kick up towards the wing. Strong hands. Late.
I reckon this bloke can be a real asset for Melbourne this afternoon. Just got that height advantage, and he's got a good pair of hands.
And a tidy kick as well. Kicks that to the advantage of the man who went to ground, unfortunately. Fitzpatrick, who comes again. He's over the top, trying to dig the ball out. In fact, it's Howe, number 38.
And then you knocked it back into him.
Now, he's a guy, if he can get 3 or 4 goals this afternoon, it could turn this game.
He's been good, Howe. He's done that a couple of times. He's been able to get 3 in a match. Back to Trengo, belts the ball forward. Watts leading Trengo over, now Bate. Clever handball. Morton had a really good opening term. Does he kick his second? He misses.
So that kick's a bit indicative of the last kicks going inside 50 at the moment. Both teams in that first quarter only had the 1 mark inside 50. Need to tidy it up. The team that can will get a real advantage.
Matthew Primus spoke to Richo about that at quarter time, about getting the tall structures forward, set up for Port. And a lot of occasions where 2 or 3 were going for the same mark.
Good point from Richo too. Butcher hasn't taken a mark. Schultz hasn't taken a mark, nor has Westhoff. I reckon they're really missing that play. One of them has to play up a lot higher than what they really want to play. They're all sort of collapsing into their own space.
So Brogan winning the free kick. He worked hard for that, Brogan. He felt it coming. Now, back to Pearce. Draws Jamar to him and gets around him. And the handball over the top to Kasisi. Kasisi on the left. Just sets it up. Westhoff, good hands. He can play straight on, and he does. Well, the kick was tough for Schultz. Ebert cleverly toe pokes it forward. Butcher couldn't quite. Frawley manhandle left, right, and centre. Port with a big chance now. Ebert's got a second. Good forward pressure.
There's a real height advantage in their forward line, but this is what they have to be able to do. There's just the one guy actually flying for the ball, and then this is the great ground level pressure. Look at that, 4 Port players on the inner circle.
Bad bounce, which was characteristic of Friday night. I reckon maybe one umpire at least may have bounced himself out of grand final contention on Friday.
Do you reckon they're getting a little bit nervous in the last round before they work out exactly who are going to be the umpires during the final series?
Maybe. I see the Geesh walking towards me, I get nervous. Hard skill though, isn't it? To CC grabs it. Brogan. Banner tries to slap it forward. Well, it's like a pinball in there. Eventually McKenzie grabs it, Kasisi grabs him.
It's a great sign too, Dennis. I mentioned earlier about how Melbourne had almost doubled Port with their contested possessions. Now it's even, so in general play, Port are really cracking in.
Bounce floats away from the two ruckmen. Trengove launched himself, missed the footy. Bale left it behind. Now Roden out of the congestion, floats it, waits it at 50. Up was McDonald, knocked it down in front for Melbourne. Maloney's been very good. Good again there, so too Jones. Gave it to Trengove. Now Garland. They worked well in there. That was precise stuff from Melbourne. Really under the pump. Terrific mark. Trengove running hard to the wing. Taken by Watts from the hand pass. Goes to half forward. Now Bates a left footer. Carlisle a bit slow to pick that up. And as a result, Martin's taken the mark.
He's been a real winner, hasn't he, Bate? He's up to 9 touches now. I reckon they've got to change their matchup there. This is a great mark by Trengove too. Just kept his eye on the ball. Such a smart young player.
See from where I was there, mate. Sorry.
Been very busy.
You're on the other side.
Carlisle, experienced player. You'd have to know that Bate is so left-sided, and for some reason just let him have his left side. So Stephen Martin in, kicks, looks pretty good. No, doesn't come back. This is tricky for all these players because none of them really, they might have taken a few shots during the week. In Melbourne yesterday and again before the game, but in these situations, not quite sure of what the breeze will do.
And there's a little bit out there, so Melbourne certainly inaccurate in the first quarter and a bit.
Right out,
so Salopeko had a lot of the ball in the first quarter. Back he goes. Carlisle. Port have got one on here. Now Logan's the long one on, but they've just been held up here. Trengove on hands and knees for a moment. And he goes the safety first to Logan, got him. So Port have managed to get it outside the defensive 50, but it's blocked in front of them. So it's been slow going for them. I think Logan's just going to go down the line here as far as he can. Westhoff held up. Well done, Garland. She played well last week, Garland. Now Maloney yet again. Back to Please. We haven't seen any run from him so far today, and he's gone. So Gray puts the tackle on him. I mean, his performance, he's hurt himself, Please, too. Gee, I hope he's all right. So Gray goes short. Roden doesn't take the mark.
Does well on the ground, though. Recovery excellent. Beats Garland, gets away. He's a powerful kick. Sends it long down towards full forward. Even. He's already got 2.
He looks in real trouble behind the play there, Breeze. We know he's had a history of bad knee. I think it might have been a broken leg at one stage as well.
In the schoolyard for everyone.
Slow to get up. He looks groggy, actually. Here it is again. Just watch this. There's a tackle. Goes to. Looks like he gets his ankle caught underneath him as well.
Meanwhile, Ebert at his 3rd. Well, a famous name has come to the party this afternoon. No question about that.
His Blues just taking off. That's a great tackle there by Robbie Gray. Just wraps him up. He goes to ground, and just watch this. Bang! The head goes into the turf. That's a really nasty one.
Yeah, spot
really
on,
shook
Timmy.
him up.
He's really shook off as he come off the ground. He definitely hit his head on the ground then.
So no leg structural problem there, but got a thick head at the moment trying to clear it. So Ebert with 3 goals, Port leading.
Now that would have been on the centre wicket area too, wouldn't it?
Yes. Not looking to get rid of it. High on.
Which is the one hard spot here. So McKenzie building to full forward. Well done there by Trengove, and then Chaplin. And then O'Shea gets it stripped of him. Jetta's handball was a tough one for Martin. He's got some pace, Martin. That'll be some goal if he kicks it, and he has. Geez, a big athlete, isn't he? That was brilliant.
There's Jack Watts, not quite able to control the ball. Jetta just gets it out in space. Martin then just picking up and a clean shot at goal, and great athleticism from a tall player.
So Brad Green in the background there, talking it up. Just the one hand pass for Brad Green so far as Bate goes out wide, and the mark is taken by Trengove. So Melbourne with their moment as they attack again, and leaping high as Fitzpatrick. So he's about 40, and we don't have much exposed form on him as Trengove takes a well-earned break.
That's a good jump at the ball, though, isn't it?
I'll say.
The only time we've seen him kick the ball this afternoon, he looked a little bit untidy, so not quite sure how accurate he may be with this kick.
We're about to find out. 32 apiece. Any score breaks the deadlock. Kicking towards the city end of Adelaide Oval. Fitzpatrick, big moment in the game, sends it on its way. It's tight, it just misses. Wasn't a bad effort though, Tim.
He looks lively. He looks okay, this kid.
Is there a club for 2 points in your first 3 kicks? Because that's what he's had so far. So, no, he looks a likely type, as does McDonald at the other end of the ground. Melbourne unleashing a couple late in the season. He's been at the club for a little while. Fitzpatrick, that's well done by Frawley to Garland. Just kicked it behind McDonald, but it's okay.
Play on, coming around.
Called to play on. Westhoff corrals him a bit. So 1 point in the game, 5-2 to 4-9. Real good contest here. Melbourne playing to a 9th win and go up a couple of spots. Port hoping not to finish the season with a wooden spoon and just 2 wins, which is what the Dockers had about 10 years ago. It's a low number. Watts over the top, and then Brogan holds it up in front of Maloney, gets half a kick away, went the wrong way, but Porter got the numbers. Gray, well, he dropped it down, Gray. He was trying to take them on, then Bale caught by Roden and Gray, and that'll be a ball up. Matthew Richardson, Richo.
Yeah, Sam Blease went down into the rooms with the doctor. He'd be down there doing the concussion test, but Tapscott has been getting busy on the bench, so there might be a substitution on the way.
Point the difference. Demons on top. One down by Jamar. Staying on his feet well was Howe. He's pursuing that football out towards the boundary and keeping at it to Cassisi. And the ball goes out of bounds. Dom Cassisi has been a good captain for the hard times. Certainly it appears that way to somebody who doesn't live in Adelaide. Perfect man for the job, because confidence at a low ebb. He missed some games, but when he's been there, he really has given his heart and soul. Motlop confronted, bounces off McKenzie eventually, gives it to Banner, takes it back, chip along the boundary line, stretching. Westhoff can't take the mark. Now, what have we got here?
50 metres! 50 metres!
Must have punched the ball into the crowd, did he?
Keep going, take it and run.
The ball out of bounds, it was out of bounds to the full.
He smashed it over the fence.
Now, that would have been easier to pick up at Amy, but with that packed crowd out there, the camouflage and the ball lost against that backdrop.
I don't think you've been allowed to do that for about 30 years, Dennis.
You're probably right. I was just making an excuse for myself, actually, Tim. I didn't see it happen. There goes the kick, hits the post. So McDonald, the young defender, who looked good last week, kicks the 10th behind for Melbourne, and they lead by 2. They double their lead right there.
So Motlop, it was his kick a moment ago. That's a lovely long kick to Brogan. Good. So Brogan off a step, and for the first time, Butcher, first real touch today. He's become a cult figure in a very short time. Andy Warhol was onto something, wasn't he, early on? It only takes quarter of an hour these days. I reckon it'll last longer, though, for him. So Dinks
Your teammate was holding it in. Your teammate is there.
He's had amazing attention for a bloke that's just played 4 games of footy, hasn't he? Well, this is his 4th game.
So Westhoff, he had a pretty good debut season too, Westhoff, didn't he? I think 34 goals in 07.
Your teammate, right out.
Different type of player. He's beefed up a bit in the last 4 seasons. His first shot on goal was awful. That is a lot better, and it's going all the way. 6-2 to 4-10. That tells a tale.
Playing only his 4th game, number 8 in the draft in 09. It seems remarkable, as we said at the outset, that he could be lost, if in fact that's going to happen. Hopefully it doesn't, because he's very much about hope. He really has got people excited about their football team as Bate kicks inside the fullback 50, going back. Mark is taken by Carlisle, who swings it to the outer side. Salopek has tried very hard, goes in short. Banner's away, runs the outer wing, looks down towards half forward, precise kick. Ebert has put it 3, wheels around on his left foot. Not a good kick though. Wanders inside the forward 50. Schultz comes up to Roden. Roden, well, interesting, goes back to Gray. Gray low down to Brogan. Melbourne now with a chance to get numbers back. Roden, well, he was almost through. Give him some credit there. It was an exaggerated sort of move as he tried to sell the dummy. Very theatrical, but he made it hard for Brogan.
So Brogan wins that tap though, and the ball going forward, and it's a goal, and it's Roden the man.
It's a nice tap over the back there, and a good finish from Roden. And potentially one of those really dangerous players once he gets forward.
Well, he's been a good goal kicker, Roden, over the years. So that goal by Boak sparked something, didn't it? Right on quarter time, they've kicked 5 of the last 6, Port. So Butcher and also McDonald. Not many games between those two guys. Please, Bennett to Gray, and then Gray goes bang, and listen to the roar. It's ridiculous to say, but if Port can win this game today, a long way to, they're going to be feeling pretty good about themselves with 3 wins of the season. I mean, it's a strange world we live in, isn't it?
Yeah. Good tackle there by Butcher too. Good defensive play, and that's been something that's been missing so much of the year for Port Adelaide, has been that defensive pressure. Far too many times sides have found it easy to actually rebound against them. There's some real spirit about why they're playing now.
Robbie Gray, outstanding player, 32 goals for the season. As we alluded to earlier, picked 55 in the 06 draft from the Oakley under-18s. Great last week as he almost engineered an upset victory over Essendon. Again, a live wire today. Probably their most lively forward so far, despite the fact he's only got the 1. Bartram gets it from Maloney inside the centre square. So Melbourne need to regroup now. They're down by 16, and it's happened quickly. Broadbent came in on the angle, got a fist on it. Blees runs into the arms of Ebert, bending high.
Bend up high. Bend up high. You come up high.
Dennis, they've slowed Maloney too. He had 12 a quarter time. He's up to 16, so Casisi's doing a good job on him now.
Momentum running with Port Adelaide. Ebert searching kick inside the forward 50. Schultz came at it. Garland did well in the front of the pack. Tries to knock it out of there. It comes back to him again. Close quarters gave it to Bate. Broadbent got him. Salopek tackled strongly by Frawley. And the umpire calls for it.
The crowd's really a factor down here. The atmosphere is great. And the Port players are being lifted by it. Their tackle intensity, the crowd's right behind them. It's a fantastic ground, this.
So Melbourne really being challenged here. They're led by 14 points before the Boak shot at goal, and now they trail by 16. So a 5-goal turnaround in that time.
We get Richard to keep an eye on Brad Green over the next 5 or so minutes. He's only touched the ball once this afternoon.
Martin wins the tap. Trengo can't get clear. Motlop finds some space, then slip. Still with Motlop, and then tries to find Brogan. Doesn't quite, but the ball comes to Logan, and Logan gets a lot on it. Well, Melbourne need the next goal. They've got to really clamp down here.
And the best way to do that is to get control of the footy and then retain possession. At this stage, though, they're finding it really difficult to be able to do that.
8 minutes out from half-time. Frawley to himself, runs to the pocket, drives it to the shadows in front of our broadcast position. Off hands it falls to Trengove, running out of space. Trengove kicks it directly to Pearce. So Pearce, left centre wing for Port, decides to test his luck against Martin. Eventually gave it to Chaplin. Chaplin to Brogan. Now Motlop, not 15. Salopek generally does something with a footy. Well, nothing hard about that. Goes back to Surgeon. So Surgeon in the true centre-half back position from South Fremantle in Western Australia. Rose to the rank of vice-captain. And that's a shocking kick.
He might pay for that.
Taken by Howe. Howe goes long looking for Jetta. Getting back into the action, Surgeon. That's the best he can make of it. as he knocks it across the boundary line. He's not happy with that kick, certainly, and reason not to be.
Could really have paid a big penalty, but he got the tap over the line. He's played the last 4 surgeon. He's injury problems, really struggled this year. Maloney just misses the Watts target, but they've got a chance now. Bale loads it up and goes to full forward. Here is Green, Tim, and Chapman took him out. And Green's free kick.
He needs this.
No, he wasn't. He looked straight at him, bumped straight into him.
Yeah, you're right, Tim. He's just can't find himself in any contests at the moment, so this might get him going, but he seems to be running around okay, just not having a great day.
He's one of those guys, both Richard and Tim, that he can get a burst. So we saw him last week after half-time against the Suns when he kicked 3 goals in a hurry. So, a bit of a captain's kick, eh? It's good, so Melbourne get the one they needed. So they close the gap a bit here.
How's that sky, eh? Expect to find those sort of skies on a postcard or two. In the city of Adelaide in the distance. Play restarts. Brogan goes after it. Plucks it off the ground. Well done, Trengove. He's been certainly one of Melbourne's best. Maloney. Lovely stuff, Bennell. So Melbourne on the move now. Goes out wide. Taken by Jetta. Lobs it over the top. And the mark is held by Bates. Now Bate will get the distance, no problem at all. It's about that ball hooking left to right here. And Little is comfortable with a kick.
He's had a real thirst for the contest this afternoon too, but I just wonder, he hasn't had a great year, whether or not he thinks he's playing for his career at Melbourne this afternoon.
Margin got as high as 16 points there. It's back to 11, and this, if it's accurate, brings it under a goal. That's a pretty good kick. It's swinging, but it's good. So Bay puts it through, and Melbourne shows some resolve right there. They were tested by Port, but they've got the last 2 goals.
He's having a great day, Matty Bates. He's an interesting player. 14 possessions now, 5 marks. His work rate is outstanding. He's been out of favour at Melbourne. What would you do with him going forward, Timmy?
Well, look, I think he can play. I really think he can play as that high half forward. You know, where Melbourne are at right now, I reckon he's a keeper. He's got a man's body. He plays a really strong game.
Just his 7th game this season, so
yeah, no, he's fallen out of favour this year. There's no doubt about that.
The last time he played actually was down at Skilled Stadium when Geelong kicked the record and won by the big margin. So he hasn't played since then, and he got the chop after that one. So McKenzie to Howe, high ball. So Melbourne within a kick now. Carlisle read it best, probably in the end could have taken the mark. Fitzpatrick, that's a throw right in front of the umpire. So Carlisle in the back pocket. Just a great crowd in today on a perfect day. Had a huge storm in Adelaide last night, only for a short time. Big fly from Jamar. And Roden and Jones both going for the same ball. So a couple of good clearance players together and a ball up. It's been a very entertaining first half. Melbourne much of the first quarter on top. Adelaide late goal, rather Port Adelaide's late goal to Boat made a difference. And then Port making the running in the second term and now being challenged.
Wide of the pack, Broadbent kicks it along the boundary line, all Melbourne. Back towards half forward then. Martin left the ball behind. Well worked by Pearce. Gave it to Gray across to Broadbent, who does it again, and this time finds the man he was looking for initially, and that's Schultz. Schultz hard against the boundary. So if they win today, Port, they avoid the wooden spoon, but they drop down 2 places in the draft. Schultz runs on for Motlop from the wing. Sends it inside the forward 50. Big leap came from Ebert. And the ball goes out of bounds. Ebert very much on song. So they'll go from 4 to pick 6 if they win today. So they're being pulled in different directions. But as you can see, they're very much about winning this game. Brogan lays it down. Ebert feeds it back. Motlop again with some time. A little chip inside the forward 50. So dangerous with the ball in hand. Give him that time and he can really hurt you. And Boat's taken the mark. down he'll go for the spiral this time. That was a real highlight after the siren at quarter time when Boak connected with his spiral from outside the 50. And it went through at about half goal post height.
Gee, that's a good kick though, Dennis, isn't it?
Yeah. He was virtually stationary, wasn't he? Just a little skip into the kick. Oh, well, is he the same man? Juggled down there by Butcher. Play on's the call. Broadbent misses.
Gee, I'm not sure that anyone else touched that other than Butcher then in that contest too. Well, that's what he's been noted as a contested mark. Here we go again. I reckon that was just his hand on that.
You're right.
He's unlucky, isn't he?
Very unlucky. And he needed it too, didn't he? He needed one close to goal.
So Frawley gets some yardage and then belts the ball. Westhoff's from the right spot, but they had the two flyers and Melbourne had the rover. But the ricochet goes to Cassisi. Dangerous kick. Boat was brave. He knew what was happening. Melbourne can make them hurt here, though. Bale's handball. And now Howe getting onto it from Fitzpatrick. Over to Blease. Blease had bait and should have used him.
Be interesting to have a look at this kicking. Both teams have been struggling with their kickings today, and it is because it's a narrow ground, so it's easy to zone and fill up the space. So let's see if Paul can get a clean break here.
Lees has sort of got an excuse, though, hasn't he? I mean, at the moment, he can always say, well, I got hit on the head. He really should have given that to Bate.
Bate might say he'll get another one.
So Westhoff a little under Banner.
Banner, a developing player too. Longer the season's gone, the better he's played. To Westhoff, cruising past. A little chip does nicely. Boak's got it. Salopek is running just on the ground. He's headed towards centre half forward. Meantime, wonderful smother back in the centre. It was Howe who got across the boot there of Banner. Bate dragged down.
Banner.
And we'll get a free kick.
Really poor play then from Banner.
So Bate jabs it down towards half forward. Barkman's taken the mark. Cruising past wide as McKenzie, not required. Margin 5 points. Port on top. Kicks inside the forward 50. Goes past Maloney and runs out of bounds. So a boundary throw in around 30 metres out from that behind post. Plenty of support for Port today.
Jamar over the back. Bate almost, and then Banner's quick kick doesn't get it far. Howe underneath. Well done, Westhoff, actually. Now,
front contact here.
Slow.
Gee whiz, okay.
In the decision then, wasn't he?
Yep. Free. So Howe gets that free kick.
Well, the decision was right, but he took a long time to make up his mind there.
He's in Boak territory, isn't he, Howe? But no siren, so he may go the drop punt. Been a good first-year player, Howe. 3 goals against the Hawks in round 18, 3 against the Eagles in round 21. He's been accurate in set shots too. 12 goals for. Now he got close to the man on the mark, and it won't be a direct score from the kick, but the big guy's got it. So Jamar, who when he's really going well, Jamar, he does go forward and get a goal as well as do all the good ruck work. So this to put the D's in front just before half-time.
Front contact, he's coming straight.
Still discussing the free kick. Jamar gets the goal. Melbourne lead by a point.
It's been a really good fight back from Melbourne because all the momentum was with Port Adelaide. Richo talked about the crowd, how noisy it was at ground level, and they've been able to work their way back into the game. This is the front-on contact from Westhoff there. I mean, that is a free kick. That's clearly a free kick, and the umpire was very slow in actually adjudicating on that. But then, you know, like you got 3 big, tall guys there against 2 Melbourne players. That ball has to be killed in the air. I mean, really, it's a poor bit of defensive effort there from the Port Adelaide players. We know this bloke's big and he's strong, but when you've got 3 against the 2, you should be able to position yourselves and smash that ball away.
So, remarkable transformation. Melbourne by a point. 11 minutes ago, they trailed by 17, approaching half-time. On this glorious Adelaide day, Jamar, who got the last goal, taps it down, straight to Gray, taken away by McKenzie. Under pressure, Bale kicks it virtually at right angles. Boak did nicely. And they win the ball out of the middle. Chaplin got it from Westhoff. High ball down towards half forward. Off hands, arriving quickly down there was Butcher. Took off as he saw the would-be tackler, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Gavin Wanganeen, one of the champion Port Adelaide players, and Essendon, Tim, of course, you know him so well. What a player he was.
Superstar.
Yep. Premierships with both the clubs. Brownlow, of course, with the Bombers.
Brownlow in a premiership year, too.
Yep. So they're all out in town today, having a look at Port Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval. And no one to be disappointed with the first half. It's been a great contest. It looks like it'll be a kick in it either way. At half-time, Maloney, terrific opening term, and that's well played. Gets the ball forward. Tringove searching for it, did a good job. That ball high, and he was uncertain. And Port, just to milk the clock down now, you would think. I think they'd be happy to go in a point behind, and Tringove kicks the ball down the line. Westhoff's been pretty good in this quarter. He's had a good turn. So quarter time, it was the Boat big goal. Half-time, Melbourne coming back. Port have been more accurate. Set up for what should be a terrific second half. Big crowd in on a perfect day. An historic day in Adelaide. It's the D's by point over the Power. It's 52-53.
I wanna move now. I wanna move. Hey. I wanna move now. I wanna move. Hey. I wanna move now. I wanna move. Hey. I wanna move now.
Banner being frustrated there, but not Travis Boak. How about that spiral after the quarter-time siren? Got it to go. Knew at the moment it struck his foot, and it went through at about half goalpost height. The margin 1 point, Melbourne on top. Maloney's been very busy with 19 possessions. And Timmy's had an interesting year. It seems an eternity ago he was stripped of the vice-captaincy, but he hasn't let it get the better of him. He's certainly soldiered on, hasn't he?
He has. He had a real quiet patch there when the big fella, Jamar, went out of the side. They had such a great ruck.
That's his meal ticket.
Combination, and he got lost when he wasn't there. And because he put up such great numbers early in the year too, he got that extra attention. I mean, the best tagger in the opposition side would always go to him, but he was outstanding, particularly in the first quarter. I thought that his work around the stoppages and his ability to find space, and we saw Matthew Primus talk about him at quarter time and how they needed to shut him down and slow him down a bit. And they did, I think, in the first half of that second quarter, Dennis. But he really started to get going again in the second half, and he got 7 possessions in that second term as well. So they're not the best midfield team in the competition, Port Adelaide, so they're really going to have to be able to nullify him in the second half.
Fair to say too, both these sides have had nice little runs at various times. Incredible figures in that second term. 7 inside 50s for 5-2 for Port, and their best time came midway through the quarter.
Yeah, they really got on a roll, didn't they? And they had the momentum. It was all going their way. Westhoff was pushing up the ground, and they really seemed to be able to address that structural issue that they had with their forward line. They split the defenders up. Frawley is such a good player. He was doing a good job, but they almost got to sacrifice the player that he goes to and just open up that forward line. But they were, as you say, very efficient in the second quarter.
Okay, translate these for us, Timmy.
Well, very low entries into their forward 50. You look at that 21 Port Adelaide, 28 to Melbourne. In contested possession, I mean, started really in Melbourne's favour, but they don't work their way back into the game. And I think in general they've been really good with their commitment to the contest, Port Adelaide. But Melbourne, I thought they were really mature the way that they struck back in that second quarter, particularly when the momentum was against them.
And Adelaide Oval has won us both over, I think, hasn't it?
Oh, beautiful. Magnificent.
Yeah, just a terrific day so far. A real sense of occasion. Coming up after the break, we go behind the scenes with Melbourne's Todd Viney.
The Adelaide Oval's a long ground, okay, so 168 metres long, so it's not quite Subi, but it's long. We can't miss opportunities to run and carry through the midfield. If we've got guys that are committed to running the patterns to give the ground width, then the advantage will just be staring at you. This is fast, this is okay, no, this is control. Let's not hyperventilate here when we're going into this. Let's be cool, calm and composed.
He's a South Australian boy, so he knows this ground oh so well, does Todd Viney. And we caught up with him during the week. We talked about his short stint as the senior coach of Melbourne, how he's enjoyed it, and maybe the future.
This is not practice. This is rehearsal number 4. Spin! Spin! Play the game!
In this role, I've got that
burning desire to compete. I think coaching is probably the next best thing to playing.
Stones at the back. Todd Mighty kicks. Oh, yes, good goal. Coming from the side, taps it down to Todd Mighty. Mighty an open goal. Bang.
I think the game has developed where you need blokes that can execute their disposal skills at a high level, particularly kicking, and certainly I wouldn't have got a game in my team if I was playing and I was coaching.
Keep pulling out. Short 45. You got to draw him. I got you. Keep running, 45.
We don't respect talent, we respect what you do with it. And Ron Brassey told me that when the first time I met him in 1985 in Hawaii, I'm sitting on the beach with him. He said, I hear you've got talent, I don't respect your talent, I respect what you do with it. And that's exactly where we're at. We've got enormous talent, enormous ability, but it means nothing if you don't develop it. The main message out of training today is to recognise those 2v1 opportunities. This is fast, this is okay, no, this is control. Let's not hyperventilate here when we're going into this.
Do it again. Got to hit that kick. Back.
Initiate contact.
Good. Bang. That's it. Very good decision.
I've gone in swinging, as you'd say. I've been pretty forthright in how to get things done. I got out of assistant coaching because I found I was just getting frustrated with the narrowness of being a line coach or an areas coach. Wanted to have more of a say on a bigger picture. Well, the 5 weeks I've just had, it's been a great eye-opener into having more say in a whole lot of different areas.
That's good. Don't have to go slow. Just pick off the easy one.
You're driving the culture, the values, the standards and the vision of the place. So that comes with a great deal of responsibility. I wake up in the middle of the night at 3 or 4 in the morning and I'm thinking it must be nearly time to get up, but the brain starts ticking over. So it does consume you.
Todd Viney gets on the board as a coach, gets his first win.
I wouldn't mind some feedback from players, from the club, to see how I've gone and take it from there. I think that it's been an interesting time. I've enjoyed the challenge, probably more than I thought I would, but it does come with a big price, and that's the extra responsibility and the intense scrutiny that you get put under, which I've always been a little bit dubious on, but we'll just sit back and take all that in at the end of next week.
Fascinating stuff. It is addictive, there's no doubt about that. Mark Bickley put his hand up after the match last night for the Crows. What's in front of Todd Viney? What's in front of this match? Played at the beautiful Adelaide Oval, the famous St Peter's Cathedral, looking down on that scoreboard. So half-time here, just a point the difference. The D's over the Power. Looking forward to next Sunday, Carlton and Essendon, and before that, a massive Friday night.
Back at Adelaide Oval. Melbourne up by a point, 7-11 to 8-4 after they led by 4 at quarter time. But it took a bit of a revival late in that second term to get back the lead. About 12 minutes out from half-time, they trailed by 17 points. Richo is down on the boundary. What news can you bring us, Matthew?
Yeah, one thing in the second half that's going to determine whether Port can win this game, Dennis, is they can start taking some marks inside 50. They went in with the 3 tools, Westhoff, Butcher and Schultz, and they have not been able to take one mark between them inside 50. It hasn't been all their fault. Entries like that don't help your forwards going over your head. But this one here from Westhoff, this is one occasion Schultz did get on the lead, bounced in front of him. And this entry here is just too shallow. It's on the 50-metre line. They're flying together. So if they can get some separation, find some inside 50 targets and take some marks in this second half, they can really do some damage and win this game, Port Adelaide.
Those seats extend back about 15 metres or so, and then it's standing room. It will remain standing room when this ground is redeveloped. Part of the tradition here at Adelaide Oval in front of the giant scoreboard. And go up there and stand, just like the old days. Start of the second half, a point the difference. After the football goes Maloney. So he starts the third term as he did the first and drives his side well inside the forward 50. The mark is taken by Chaplin.
If we go behind your mark, you're about 3 metres in front. No, you stopped. Here we go.
Man standing to mark is Brad Green. Very quiet. There's the one goal from a couple of possessions. Bate, who's been very good, in stark contrast, gets back there, had plenty of the football, punches it away from Salopek and out of bounds.
Just wonder the effect that that whole sacking of Dean Bailey had on Brad Green. He hasn't really been the player he had been throughout the course of the year after that.
Brogan, clean possession, high ball to midfield, and the mark was taken there for Melbourne by McDonald. From the shadows, McDonald drives it inside the forward 50. There's Green, but in from the side, Logan, almost the mark not paid, bit stiff, picked up down there and snapping towards goal. That was Blease. Doesn't kick too many goals that I'm aware of. Salopek in the back pocket, hugs the boundary line, finds Boak. He's never kicked one. Thanks, Bruce.
So Boak in the back half. Motlop. He's got a bit of the ball, Motlop, and a couple of real highlights. High ball to centre wing. Oh, Schultz went too early, and Rivers takes the mark. Got a good defence, I reckon, Melbourne. And we talked about this last week when you add Grimes next year and a couple of others. It's going to be the mainstay for them. There's something to build on for the new coach, whoever it might be. So McKenzie short to Green. If he can get off the leash and get into the match, he could be the winner. Kicks the ball to the pocket. Not a good kick. Front spot, couldn't hang on to it. Carlisle was good pressure, and then Gray puts on a tackle and it'll be a ball up.
Port Adelaide still haven't taken the ball into their own half in this second half, and they only had 21 inside 50s in the first half. They average 43. They're the worst in the competition, so you just wonder if they're going to have enough opportunities.
Bartram a half chance there, missed the footy. Just grazed it. Kasisi kicks it outside the defensive 50. Jones gets into his move. Hard against the line, slips a hand pass away to Morton. Morton about 60 metres from goal. Squeezes a kick in low. Kasisi showed courage. Bartram! Oh, gee whiz. That bounced almost at right angles. It looked like it was going to sneak in, but it didn't. Melbourne double their lead, though. They're up by 2 points now.
He's a bit stiff. So there's the end of some standing room. Most of the hill today much more cluttered than that. Westhoff front spot. Couldn't take them up. Bale's been okay. Jay Murray asked a bit of him, and then Boak toe pokes it off the ground. Garland, Jones, good handball inside to Bale again, and then Bale with a long, strong kick to full forward. Terrific spoil by Carlisle. Gray ran into some traffic of Pearce, but then runs his full measure, Gray. Not a great kick, it was a floater. Shaw's couldn't quite, and a boundary throw in. So quiet start for Port here, but Melbourne haven't done any damage on the forward line. They've had it forward. Graham Cornsey kicked the most famous goal. He took a screamer to the right of screen, and when Glenelg won the last grand final played here against North Adelaide, it was possibly the best grand final ever at the Adelaide Oval, and Cornsey put the icing on the cake. Motlop's free kick, no. Now Boak.
Boak runs it down towards the attacking 50. Oh, beautiful delivery. That's his end, Boak. His kicking has been spectacular down there. Ebert lines up, realises nobody's back. Has it got the carry? Not quite. Live ball in front of the goals. Trengove threw himself at it. Off the ground by Butcher, but nothing came of it. And now Garland runs it out of bounds. Boundary throw in inside the 50.
Motlop is such a clever player, isn't he?
What about that kick that was coming up there from Boak too? It was a beauty, wasn't it? Just under the man coming at him. Lobe does well. Too slick though for Boak. Comes back to Lobe, claimed immediately by Maloney. And we'll have another ball up. So Melbourne by 2 points.
In Port's forward 50. Roden from Lobe, and then Bartram did well. Just got a kick away. Fitzpatrick front spot, no free. Stood up pretty well. Bate, Kasisi should get a free there. Bale into his back. So the skipper to get the ball at centre wing.
And this is where they have to work really hard, the Port Adelaide forwards, now to try and create some space.
It's a cluttered forward line, isn't it?
Oh, look at it.
Kasisi's going to kick it to a Mob, and in the pocket, and the Mob, well, Motlop read it best now. He's right in range here, Motlop.
I tell you, on what he's shown today, you'd almost be inclined to clear the rest of the guys out of the forward line and playing one out if you could possibly orchestrate that.
He's been playing off half-back a bit. This is the Cornsey pocket, by the way. I mean, Graham was a lot closer than this, but the same angle. It's about 25 metres out, so this won't worry him in terms of the distance. And he kicks it across the face, though, and a couple of big flies, and it's a behind. So, close match. That's what we wanted, wasn't it? A grandstand finish.
Yep.
The teal seen everywhere here today, the young and the old, eh? I'll remember on Father's Day where they were. In a few years' time, they'll be reminded every year.
All we needed today, Bruce, was that picket fence jumper. I keep going on about that. Yeah. Garland kicks in and the mark is taken by McDonald. Best jumper in Christendom. Said something. Tough guys playing footy. Well, McDonald creeps up to the mark and now just pops it across to Bennell. Bennell looks to the outer side. Will need a good kick. Will it get there in time? It does easily. Trengove against the boundary line. Keeps it going. Rivers. Wonderful decoy. Rivers away. Kicks it down towards half forward. Green drifting in. Takes the mark. Man on in the middle. Goes short. Maloney reading it brilliantly. O'Shea came up and took the mark and now he plays on. O'Shea comes out very wide. Brogan just on the ground but it won't reach him. In front, Martin, despite the efforts of Kasisi. So Stephen Martin plays on. Pumps it back inside the 50 again. Jamar is down there. Gets the crumb, Jamar. Hand passes to Maloney. Comes back to Howe. Jabs it across the face of goal. It's gathered by Jones. Trying to wriggle free. Jones will kick a goal. Well done, he's got two.
Well, this should never have happened. There's a couple of poor players. Here's the first kick that comes across from Howe. But just watch this. I mean, Jones, there's Gray first of all. There's Pearce. When Pearce should have gone at the body.
So the D's have kicked the last 4 goals and they get a little bit of a cushion here in a tight match. It's a 7-point game. It's been a bit of a bursty game from both teams. So Port with the big crowd behind them. Plenty to play for. I know there'll be a change in the draft number 4 and 6, and that last year was Gaff and Conker, both pretty good players, eh? So Gray did well, Motlop, well, he could go all the way now. Kicks it low and hard and kicks it through. He won't play for Port next year. He wants to play footy next year, but it won't be at Port Adelaide. He's organised himself for that. He's got a clear mind of what he wants to do, but he's happy at home. He's got another little baby coming, a new partner. So life's good for Daniel right now, and that was a great goal.
The umpire recalling the bounce. Point the difference. Sea of faces. Well, I think you're going to have to say today's been a resounding success. Just needs that grandstand finish, and we're en route to get it. Lobe, upended. Comes back to Maloney, who kicks it down towards half forward. They need something from Watts. Bate knocks it out wide, taken by Howe. Back to Bate, wheels around on his left side. They're conceding ground here. Green snaps it across the body. Inside the forward 50, McKenzie has taken the mark, well within scoring range.
Well, Dennis, if you want something out of Watts, he's actually just been up on the wing for the last 3 or 4 minutes. They're trying to move him up the ground. He actually was in behind the ball in the Port defence as well.
Well, he's been quiet. What, 7 possessions so far for Jack Watts?
Green's seeing more of the action too this quarter, isn't he?
Yep, McKenzie. Important kick. No, it's coming back. It's trying to. It's okay. He's got the goal. 7 points the margin.
There's Jack Watts and Broadbent lined up against each other on the wing, and Jack's had a fairly quiet afternoon so far, just the 7 touches for him.
What about McKenzie? 2 goals in 37 matches for 4 today, and he's got a brace today, so he's doubled his career total. He got some goals out of the midfield. Westhoff took Watts on, did get a sort of toe poke away. Boakes had a good turn, switches it wide to Salopek, to Motlop. Then Motlop caresses beautifully. Butcher, well played, Rivers. It was a terrific effort by him at the back. Butcher probably should have protected the ball a little better. I shouldn't be telling him how to mark, should I? Here's Watts, out wide, switches it.
That's what we do, Bruce. There's Trengove on the outer side. Two guys wearing makeup, just telling people what to do when they play footy. Howe. They're telling them how, and Howe's kick wasn't flash. Taken by Banner. Banner. Short. Ebert. Well, I thought for a moment it was going to be his, but it was knocked away by the man in front. Goes out of bounds, and now Surgeon appears to have been spiked. Not often you see that these days.
That looks nasty, actually, too, doesn't it? The way that he was hopping about there. Well, that's a real gash. You can see that there. Well, that's going to require stitching. In fact, I mean, that would be a very difficult spot on the leg to stitch, too. I mean, it may be that we've seen the last of him for the afternoon.
So one wonders how the heck that happened.
You wouldn't think a stop. You wouldn't think there'd be anybody out there wearing the old-fashioned stop that could possibly pierce the calf.
Maybe it's the ghosts of Cornsey, rather. Corny.
Just watch this. Yeah, well,
he might have got himself, do you think, on the way down? But still, I
mean, there's nothing definitive there, unless there was something on the ground. You just wonder. I don't know whether or not they've got enough sharpness. The stop, even to get a back flip like that.
One thing I do know is that Richo's all over it. Although he does hate the sight of blood, so he might give them a few minutes to sort it out. Here's Gray. Hopefully Surgeon's okay. Got the right name for it. Inside the forward 50. Getting back down there was Garland. Claimed by Ebert. Hasn't Ebert played with life?
They're about to make a substitution down here. Jonas is about to come on.
Would he perform his own medical procedure then, would he, Dennis, under those circumstances?
Save a bit of dough, I know that. Trengove. I don't think you're allowed to do that, are you? You're emotionally involved. Roden gets a free kick. So Roden has this one to pull it back to a point the difference. Ebbing and flowing. We're enjoying this game. Who would have thought two of the also rounds of the competition would be putting on quite a show? David Roden has finished the season with a flourish. Comes in, kicks, goal umpire goes a long way, but it's okay. Roden's got two, and a point separates these two sides.
Well, there's young Jonas. He has been subbed into the game for Surgeon, who has had his mystery cut taped up, Timmy. I'm not sure how it got there, but it's been taped up and he's been subbed out.
So the two subs are against each other there, Tapscott and also Jonas. So what an interesting game. Actually called Jonas getting a kick in the first couple of minutes, I remember. So
I don't remember that.
I shouldn't tell Butcher how to take a mark. So 65 to 66. Dennis, if you've got a draw in your water at some stage, let me know. Bates kick forward, marked by Tapscott. You've been good at that all year. We've had a famous draw on this ground. Slasher McKay and Lindsay Klein, haven't we? Tapscott with a long bomb. Were you calling that day in 1961, Den, or you?
No, but I would have been listening, I'm sure. Tell you who I did see today, who's been a big help to us, Rex Sellers. Yep. Remember Rex?
I do. I spoke to him before. Yep.
He might have played in that game, I reckon.
No, he didn't play a test here. No, he didn't play a test on this ground, no.
I knew I was pressing the luck with you.
No, I asked him today.
Did you? Yep. What a stupid question. There goes Logan. Out of the back pocket, goes towards the outer side and runs to the boundary and goes across.
Surgeon looked nasty, didn't he?
Yeah, that's amazing. That really is a mystery.
The only time I've ever seen that happen was at training one night. Terry Danaher actually got a sprig stuck or caught on his heel, and it opened right up. He had about half a dozen stitches in it, but that was the old-fashioned footy bit.
I got to say, that was a Popeye-looking calf too. Maybe it just popped. Ball trickles out of bounds. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. Butcher comes up with it. Hasn't really troubled the statistician too much today, John Butcher, although he was a bit stiff not to be paid a mark. Umpire saying it was a touch ball. How's that for a landscape? Jamar in front. Lobe over the top. Roden runs into a dead end, and the umpire will ball it up again. Interesting, talking about the draft as we were, Bruce. They are said to be looking for another young ruckman, which surprises me.
Yeah, well, Brogan costs a retire. You've got to have the numbers, don't you?
Yeah, but grooming two young ruckmen, I think I'd be inclined to get someone who's a little more proven, because I think there's quite a surplus of good big men around the league at the moment. There was Bartram bouncing it down towards the wing. Knocked forward out there by Bale. Coming across on the angle was Green. Trengove, the look-away hand pass to Morton. Morton Hunt against the boundary line. Beautiful pass. Just put down by Howe. Howe still under pressure. Slams it back outside the 50. Oh, fair to say O'Shea invaded Morton's space. There's an opportunity now for Motlop, and he's away.
Second bounce. Does the right thing with a good handball. Boat looked back to give it to Motlop, decided to go forward to a contest, and Garland won a good contest there against the high-flying Ebert. So Garland coming out of the back half. This is where Port had trouble early in the match, holding it up there. Chaplin sets himself. Green. Maloney's been brilliant to Watts. They're running hard. Trengove over the top to Fitzpatrick. They're on here. Fitzpatrick with a running bounce, little left footer. Well, I don't think it was meant for Jones, and then Jones tried to get it back to Fitzpatrick. Tap Scott, Fitzpatrick's gone.
They were so lucky then, Port Adelaide. Yeah, they didn't work nearly hard enough, Richo, to get back again after they turned that ball over, and it was a deep turnover too.
Yeah, you're right, Timmy. They had 3 or 4 numbers out. Young Fitzpatrick just didn't have the vision then. They were unlucky.
He was out of control at the end, wasn't he? After the football goes Trengove, flips it across to Morton, back to Trengove, just inside the centre square, ambitious kick. Logan got his knuckles to it, but it skidded on. Tapscott, the sub, deep in the pocket, hooks it back towards full forward, two-fisted away by Jonas, his opposite number, and the ball goes out of bounds. Not numerically, but both started the game as subs.
Been a real question mark against Port Adelaide's fitness all season and their conditioning, and on that occasion, all the midfielders moved up the ground with the play, and they were very, very slow in actually being able to push back and fill the holes.
So Roden doing so well in the clearances. It's a clever handball. He was under pressure, but he makes a contest with Bartram, and it'll be a ball. No, the ball's still coming out. So Bale, who's been good. Motlop puts the tackle on him. Morton went to ground. Westhoff's tackle was good. Left foot by Boat. To a contest. Ebert's high fly. Motlop's having a big moment here. Still with Motlop. Now he's gone. The ball spills free. Umpire gave him a lot of latitude. Did okay. Got it to O'Shea. O'Shea back to Westhoff. Good contested footy to Ebert. Ebert drawing a man to Banner. Banner goes for goal. And it's a poor kick in the end, but it was an exciting build-up. So scores are level. Gee, a bit of everything from Motlop, eh?
Yep. That's Motlop, isn't it? That's his career in 10 metres. Battle for the footy close to the boundary line. Banner.
And their finish. Sorry, Dennis. Just to talk about their finish. Their last couple of times they've gone forward. They've actually had the numbers, but they haven't been able to work their way through it and then hit their targets.
So Motlop is taking a breather, and he's played a good 10 minutes or so right there. Knocked down by Jamar. In trouble, Banner just prods it towards Salopek, and immediately Salopek is set upon.
It's just got the feeling down here that something's about to break. Each team's had those running, flowing movements going forward, just haven't been able to capitalise. But you get the feeling it's about to break in the next few minutes this game.
And as we said at half-time, it's been a game of momentum and surges. Here's Pearce, goes inside the forward 50, up in front, Schultz almost the mark. Over the football, Garland did well, flicks it back, the ever-reliable Frawley. Swings it out wide now, running beyond the 50 and sending it towards the wing was Martin. Lovely kick too. Jetta hits the ground running, looks down towards half forward. It's 2-on-1. Green, he's marked about 60 metres from goal. Melbourne players storming back. One of them is Jones, but I'd venture to say he's too far away. Getting to him now, Salopek, and that was good running by Salopek to close him down. He had a start of about 40. Kick goes towards the pocket. Big leap! How? We've seen this before, Bruce. There's a sense of deja vu with this young man. He can jump, but he can take a mark.
Didn't mark. He said it fell
What?
out. No. He's caught it, can't hit it when it hit the ground. No. So bounce. I blew the whistle for Martin.
Please. Please.
So it's a bounce.
I mean, it's going to fall out if it hits the ground.
Where the ruckman come?
Tim?
I thought he had
here we
control
go,
of the
we're
ball. I
gonna
thought
bounce
it
it
was
in.
a definition of a mark.
All the way. Umpire Schmidt So Melbourne have to content themselves that Schmidt happens. There's the bounce. Close to the goal line. It's picked up by Salapak. Slides it away. Pearce goes along the line, taken by Logan.
That would rule out two of the greatest marks taken of all time. One, Steve Silvani, and also the Gary Ablett mark at the MCG that day, if you had to hold the ball all the way down.
Gary didn't get it halfway down, did he?
So Carlisle to Tringove. Bennell's hurt himself. Tringove switches it up. Broadbent running. Now the little one was on to Shawls, and he decided to go longer to Butcher, but might get a second crack. Ebert did really well. Spins out and bangs to Westhoff in a contest. Takes a good one, Westhoff. Played pretty well, Westhoff, hasn't he? I mean, they all had a slow start, but
he's been the pick of their three tools, yeah.
So Bennell comes from the ground.
Interestingly, though, he wasn't matched up against Frawley there either. I mean, Frawley has been almost impassable today.
Kick to goal in the second term was a great kick in the pocket. It was the same, I mean, it's the opposite end, but the mirror image of this, but it was a further out, but similar angle. And that's the Cornsey kick. That's exactly the angle and the distance. So he gets the goal.
Is that mark, Dennis, that wasn't a mark?
Jeremy Howe on the way down. He did lose it, but gee, have to pay those. That's a good bounce. Brogan in front. Stolen by Tapscott. Runs into the arms of Ebert. This is the first time in this term that Port have taken the lead. They trailed by a point at half-time. So Ebert, of course, we've spoken about him. His son. He certainly made his presence felt this afternoon. Brett has booted 3 goals. Wide of the pack, it's taken by Watts. Well done, finds a way through. Spirals it inside the forward 50. Green goes up high, bounces off his chest. Whoa, Jones was clipped by Trengove as he went past. Meantime, about 5 metres away. What a bounce. What's this again? Oh. Well, drive-by, Tim.
Can't do that.
Brogan, well done, McKenzie to Trengove. The other one, and he kicks the ball not very well. Just couldn't get enough on it. It was within range. And O'Shea's done some good things. Short to Pearce. And Pearce with that raking left. Well, that's a great kick. Brogan should have taken the mark. He's okay, though. Don't think Brogan can do anything wrong today as far as the fans are concerned. Carlisle to Gray.
Switches on here.
Going to use Pearce, but he's a lefty, so he's more comfortable going the other side. And he's kicked it close to the line, and Banner should take the mark. So again, you feel like, even though Melbourne are only a goal down, they feel like they need the next one. Port have just had the better of it in the last 10 minutes. Shawls hasn't been able to get off the leash today. Butcher made a lead. He's waited for him to go back. Westhoff may be the target now to be Butcher and Westhoff. Westhoff's big fly. At the back, Martin will play a handball. Motlop, well, he spent it before he had it. Going off the ground. Now Broadbent's in the pocket. He's got a bit of time to work it through. Sweeps a long handball. Motlop cleverly done to Salopek. Oh, that's Motlop. And Salopek finishes it.
Here he is again. I mean, Martin handballed that ball out and they weren't able to clear it. It goes wide, and then they just managed to get the ball back to a dangerous part of the ground. A Motlop tap to Salopek was first class.
How good was that, eh? Out of the middle, Banner. Just to have the self-belief after messing something up to go right back to that as your next move. Boak, Gray. I like those bats where they got that solar thing happening. In front, or sonar is it? Whatever it is. Garland dragged down. Ball rolls out of there. McKenzie, good hands. This guy's been good. Bale, good to see him back in. Goes out to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick, interesting kicking style. And that wasn't a good kick. He follows up again. And unfortunately for him, gets into the back of Trengove. Trengove on the outer side. Lays it off immediately. Taken by Salopek again. Salopek. Good use of the footy. Westhoff has it. Left half forward. Looks inside the forward. 50. And Schultz. So maybe, just maybe, Port Adelaide are making their winning move. But if history this afternoon there's anything to go by, expect Melbourne to make another run.
That is a great lead and a great jump. And I reckon it might have been, was it Nicholson that was on him again then?
No, he's not playing.
Sorry, I mean...
Hang on, we'll get back as Schultz comes in for the biggest lead of the afternoon and puts it through.
So yes, they had 3 goals, and for like Westhoff up high again, and Schultz a bit of space.
So much of that we haven't seen this afternoon, but Schultz has actually been on the lead twice in this third quarter and been able to take a mark, and that's a really good sign.
Well, it doesn't seem enough time for Melbourne to win back the lead, if in fact they get the next goal, but they're under pressure here. In trouble, Jones kicks it the wrong way, going back Tapscott, lays it off, taken by Fitzpatrick, sends it out wide. Maloney, reasonably quiet in this turn, goes down towards half forward. Bate run down from behind by Jonas. John out of there, taken by Maloney. Maloney inside the forward 50. Oh, Howe again. Well, he almost marked that one as well. Backing out of trouble, Salopek. Swings it across the ground and finds O'Shea. O'Shea, meanwhile, behind play. Bit going on, but we'll stay with the game as the mark is taken by Westhoff. Very hard to get hurt in footy these days. Salopek up to 20 possessions. Jones over the footy. Tapscott forward to the wing. Sends it down towards the 50. Big leap from behind by Howe.
Here. No, stop.
He doesn't get it again.
Stop.
He's having a rough trot, isn't he, Howe? So Morton, about 65 metres out, a minute remaining in the term, sends it down towards full forward, uncontested. Melbourne's Trengove ghosts across the front of the pack and takes the mark 15 metres out, and he can't believe it.
That was a beautiful kick, actually. He took a lot of heat out of the kick. He just put it up there, hoping that one of the forwards would read the ball best off the boot. That was a really smart kick then from Morton.
Okay, so we decided they didn't have time for the full fight back, but maybe after the intermission, this can continue. There's one they need. They trail by 2 straight goals.
Well, they've got a real fight on their hands, Melbourne, because we've already spoken about this crowd, this large crowd here at Adelaide Oval, perhaps being able to bring Port home. We know they're trying to avoid the wooden spoon this afternoon, but just watch this kick again from Morton. He lined up as though he's actually going to kick the ball really long and deep, and the defenders set themselves for a spoil at the top of the square, and that was really just a half kick. And smart play from Trengove to read the ball and then be prepared and courageous enough to fly across in front of the pack and take the mark.
Well, they've led 3 times at three-quarter time and lost Port this year. Remember, last week was one of them. They were 16 points up. They got to 34. That goal will give Melbourne a lot of heart. So they're within 2. They can't afford another one against them, though. McKenzie brought down. See, what a great game. I mean, the venue, it's like going to the best theatre in the world to see a stage play, but it's been a good stage play as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, hard tackle from Schultz. McKenzie down low, so Port will lead at three-quarter time by 2 goals. And ironically, Daniel Motlop, in many ways, I think has been the spark in the third quarter. What's in front of us in the last turn? It's been a great atmosphere. It's been a terrific contest. And Port Adelaide have got their noses in front. The Tringos at either end have been pretty good. So it's 13-6-84 to 10-12-72 on Sunday footy. Two really big clubs, aren't they? The Bombers and the Blues. Looking forward to that next Sunday. Been a good game here. Port lead by 12 points. That late goal to Tringove of Melbourne in Port and Melbourne. A couple more shots, but what a wonderful day. Big crowd here, perfect conditions really. It's had a wonderful atmosphere all of its own. Todd Viney's about to join Matthew Richardson.
Well, Toddy, how are you going to get the job done in this last quarter?
Well, we just need to have a little bit more composure when we get the footy. I reckon most of the stats are even, but probably our kicking efficiency when we've had the opportunity to create some scoring opportunities, it's been down. So we just need to finish our play a bit.
You went inside 50 enough, 15 times, as you said, the efficiency was down. You're going to change anything up in that forward 50?
Oh, we just said take some more time, you know, keep your composure, keep the forwards isolated and try and hit some easy lead-ups. You know, we've all game, we just haven't made the most of our shots inside 50, and hopefully we can get a few easy ones this quarter.
Good luck.
Thanks, mate.
He's right about the stats there too, Todd Viney. 250 possessions to 252, 104 contested to 102, and clearances 30 to 31. They've taken the ball inside 50, 43 times to 33. These are the important players in the last quarter for Melbourne. Jack Watts and Brad Green, both have just had reasonable days. Motlop was a star in that third quarter. Can he keep it up in the final term? And Robbie Gray, I reckon he's still capable of creating a spark for Port Adelaide.
Terrific day, needing a big finish to make it a resounding success. Away we go. Port lead it by 12. Brogan decisively down to Gray. Quick kick around the corner towards half forward. Fisted away by Bennell. Broad bent to Gray. Gray is through in the opposite direction. Jones did brilliantly. Smothered the kick. Tapscott gets the crumb. Boots it down towards half forward. Game of centimetres. Had that ball got out on the outer side, they had loose men, Port. Now an opportunity for Jetta. Jetta drives inside the forward 50. Big pack. Trengove over the pack for Port. Comes to Howe. Well, it's not Howe, it's how many?
So it was a terrific effort on the left, on his wrong side, hammering it home after some personal disappointments in the third quarter. He took 3 marks and in the end, for one reason or another, not awarded any of them. Jones winning it from Maloney, so Melbourne with the last 2 goals.
Oh.
Good mark again. Well, that one paid. He's becoming the X factor, isn't he? Kicks the ball to the pocket. Martin did well and controlled it in the end.
What do you want, Heater? What do you want, mate? Go down, mate. Go down, go down. Okay, that's all right there.
Well, it's a tight pocket, as you can see. It's not absolutely beyond him, I reckon, this.
Don't give anything away.
Gee, Carlisle couldn't have been any closer than what he was there to spoil.
Gee, the clearances out of the centre so vital, aren't they? I mean, Port had one smothered. Jones and Maloney. So Martin, it's across the face. Contest, taken down Trengove, and the ball not coming out, and the ball up. Trengove there, so that was Jonas taken down. Good size, Jonas. Brought him in for the last sort of month of the year. Gee, Lobe did well. That was a terrific tap. Cassisi, Port now get it out of the defensive 50.
Ebert goes back and takes a real gutsy mark. Wheels around Ebert. Sends it long down towards half forward. This could be against Rivers. No, it's paid a mark. There was body contact as the ball was arriving. Good mark by Rivers, though, to Bartram, to Bale. Comes across the ground, missed the target. Well, the target slipped over as it turned out. Carlisle back to half forward, Westhoff. It's been a game of runs today. And speaking of running, Motlop was running on, I think, and it's hard to judge with such a sloppy kick. It may have been intended for him. As it was, it bounced down into the pocket, and we'll have a throw in. Westhoff's been okay, though, despite that blemish. And that's the noise you can hear.
Play on.
Real festival of football this afternoon. Out of defence, Bates off hands to the back. Fitzpatrick, can he keep it in? Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. And we'll have a throw in.
He's had a couple of good moments, young Fitzpatrick. First game today. So Brogan in his final term of footy against J-Mark. Down low, Trengove's played really well, so's Maloney. Up to that 30, Maloney. Kicks the ball to a contest and building it over the line, Jonas. Gee, big job for Jonas on Howe. Both first-year players, Howe with a bit more. There's Russell Ebert. 4 McGarry medals, unprecedented in this state. And the record, as we talked about earlier, of 392 games for the Magpies. Just a colossal player. God, could he take a mark. So his son gets involved, and then Broadbent to Trengove. And then Trengove, that was okay. Is that 50?
Should be.
Oh, Schulz, unfortunately, wanted to get it on in a hurry. Well, that's a massive turnover. Maloney out wide, Green running hard. He tries a bit of soccer tricks. We know he's good at all that. Back to Watts. The advantage given. Now Watts, can he use it? Oh, he's shown a bit of the ball, but it's come off. Howe getting away, kicks the ball wide to Martin, who should run on almost. No, goes over the top, does the right thing. And Jetta takes the mark. Well, Schulz probably should have got a 50, and then he, off a step, he kicks into the man on the mark.
And look at the penalty you paid too. This is the mark. Just didn't go back high enough, and I mean that's great concentration from the player on the mark, just to hold his hands up like that as well. But even when the ball went forward then from Melbourne, the Port Adelaide players were so slow in being able to cover for each other.
Came back into the team last week. He hadn't played since round 13, Jetta. Played against the Suns, and this to square it up, and he's done it. So 84 apiece.
Well, that was a huge goal from Melbourne. When Schultz turned the ball over at half-back, Martin was actually coming on the interchange bench. He ran down the fat side of the ground, was standing inside 50 on his own for about 20 seconds, and then passed it on for the goal.
Very high bounce, hooked down behind by Martin. Hand pass came from Roden to Boat. Both sides have smothered well today. Picked up by Jonas, goes wide to Salopek. Salopek across the body, bounces it close to the boundary. Banner goes down. We'll have a throw-in. There are the totals.
Already 4 for Melbourne in the final term.
Impressive. So important. Spinning out of trouble, Maloney. Maloney, a searching kick inside the forward 50. Fitzpatrick had it knocked away. Bale runs into Trengove.
Jackson Trengove, fend off high.
There the umpires. Port to relieve the pressure. Scores deadlocked again. What an amazing game in terms of runs. Both sides have had their moments, and they've come in spurts, the goals today. Interesting to see a graph on that after the match. Trengove across to Roden, twisting, turning, just gets away from Trengove. If that makes sense, it was Trengove who gave it to him. You know what I mean? Inside the forward 50, Salopek liked his game. Soccer's off the ground, now they've got a chance. Roden goes around the outer side and pitches just inside the boundary and goes out. I'm just talking about Jack Trengove for Melbourne. His personal best is 29 back in round 4 against the Gold Coast. Had 28 twice. He's currently at 25. Could be a career high this afternoon.
Been one of 3 very good midfielders for the D's. Bales was good there. Breaks it free. Gets to about 30 metres out. Good contest with Fitzpatrick and also Trengove now. Bate. Still with Bate. Now he's a long left footer. He does the right thing. He centres the ball. Morton, there were 2 of them flying for the same pill. And now Gray constructing to Logan. Has to be accurate. Finds Motlop. Gets him. So Motlop's going over 20 disposals for only the 2nd time in his career. 6 times he's been on 20, but only twice has he been above it. Admittedly, he has played deep forward a fair bit at times. Not so much today. Well, another smother. Well, Tapscott's over the top. Gee whiz. Unbelievable. Motlop. Gee. It's the good, the bad, and it is sometimes the ugly. The goal to young Fitzpatrick.
Well, that's great concentration. I reckon Tapscott just watched his eyes and he knew exactly what he was going to do. And that's their 5th smother. Look at that statistic. 5 smothers in a couple of minutes of 5 minutes of football.
Just outstanding, isn't it? I mean, it's all about want to, isn't it? Smothering. You've just got to have the desire to get across that foot. It's quite dangerous in its way.
No, you're spot on, Dennis.
So ball up back in the centre. The umpire has recalled it. So Melbourne now out by 6.
Holding Robbie Gray. Getting by the front of the jumper, Robbie Gray.
Gray's getting a free kick. Oh, this could be 50.
Robbie Gray, he had the front of his jumper. Wait, just wait, Robbie, wait, just wait, time, back here.
He's lost control.
Bring it back here, Robbie Gray. I saw the front of the jumper coming out here.
He's flipped out, Timmy. I know the feeling well, though.
Well, if Bates didn't know, or did know rather, that it was the other team's free kick, he played it magnificently.
I tell you what, Whiskers very much in fashion. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Fitzpatrick's got the footy after Gray slipped over. What an anticlimax, Jonas. Jonas swings it out wide, but just a goal the difference. So heaps of time. And Port with the crowd right behind them. Trengove gets it from Pearce. Intent on drawing a man. Goes to Cassisi. Motlop is on in the pocket. Bypasses that. High ball. Up goes Butcher. Couldn't hang on. Trengove another possession out of the back pocket. Cassisi goes up, knocks it down. Opportunity for McDonald. Puts it into the path of Bate. Bate comes forward, meeting him halfway and winning the football. Trengove to Cassisi. Around the corner to Broadbent. Broadbent looks down towards the pocket. Found a man unchecked. And that's Lobe. Lobe thinks about going. And the umpire now will set the mark, I think. Okay, Lobe.
Tringo just came off the ground too. Dennis copped a really heavy knock to his back.
Lobe is looking right into that throng. They're in the opposite pocket. In he comes. And he misses to the near side. Margin less than a goal.
So still only taken it inside 50 36 times.
They average 43. They average 43.
I mean, their strike rate once they get there is good.
Todd Viney talked about using the ball, using your eyes for Melbourne. We're Port in the same boat now, aren't they? So who can hold their nerve here? Brogan at the middle, and at the back was Rivers. Had a terrific game, Rivers. Pearce couldn't quite keep a handle on it. Has to give, he does. Broadbent flashed it out. Roden got it from Cassisi, but Melbourne. Garland.
Gee, some of the players look tired out there at the moment. There's not a lot of run in this game.
Burnell.
You did say it was a soft surface, didn't you?
Yeah, it's very spongy.
It's been a contested game. McKenzie. To Bartram. So Melbourne just taking some time here, playing a bit of tempo footy. Watts hasn't had any real impact, Watts, but still time for him to kick a big goal or two. This man kicked an important goal in this quarter. So they've had 5 passes to get it here, and Jetta loads it up.
They'll compete just outside the 50. Jamar almost. I think the pack hard was Jonas. Slung to the ground, Howe. And the ball wedged between he and Motlop. Now he plays 85. Biggest margin today at any stoppage. 12 points at three-quarter time. Saw the crowd just under 30,000. So right on what they budgeted for. Of course, this ground really a far cry from what it will become. It's been difficult, but they've managed superbly. The people at this venue. Bale taken down, slips it away. Jones surrounded, had it a long time, and he threw it, says the umpire. It'll come back to Port's skipper, Dom Cassisi. Down towards left half forward. This side down by 5 points. Goes for distance. High ball. Schultz is there. Almost the mark. Gets the hand pass to Boak. Boak, the impossible angle. And he puts it through. And Port lead.
There's a contest.
He's kicked 2 very different goals today. The barrel at quarter time and that one there.
That was intentional, though. You see the way that he laid the ball across his boot. Got the perfect bounce, point on point.
So 2 huge goals to Boak. On the siren at quarter time with a torpedo. And then that clever left footer. So Port get back to lead. Melbourne started the season with a draw against the Swans at the MCG. Port haven't won since they beat the Tigers in Darwin. That was a long, long time ago. And a great contest, and it looks like we're going to have a very, very close finish. One way or the other. Maloney, 5th time this season over 30. Chippenell, some good work there. There's some run in the legs, and then kicks the ball to full forward. Logan got back. Tring gave an important touch. O'Shea in the back half. Out wide, Port can go. Banner to Ebert, and then Ebert quickly onto the pocket. At half forward, a one-on-one. Well done, Garland, with Motlop, who's gone forward, and a boundary throw in. Well, nearly 30,000. The last 3 times these two teams have played, they've had 18, 21 and 21. So it's been a terrific turn-up today on a perfect Father's Day in Adelaide. And how will it end? Well, we've got plenty of time for one team or the other to make a big move here.
Even the scoreboard looks right, doesn't it?
Yep.
Boundary throw in outside the attacking 50 for Port. They lead it by a point. At the second attempt, Jamar got it down. Cassisi intercepted by McKenzie. He went to ground. It trickles out to Jones. Jones with nowhere to go. No way through. And a ball up from umpire Ryan. Richo.
Dean, it's just a really topsy-turvy contest. How are you seeing it out there?
Oh, it's a great game, isn't it? Oh, mate, it's something special. Look, mate, I think stoppage is the key. You know, goals are coming from stoppages, and you know, we had a couple of silly turnovers. Just getting in deep, keeping in our forward line, get some forward stoppages. That's where we want to play the ball in our half. So it's going to be interesting 15 minutes.
Good luck and enjoy your last bit of league footy.
Thanks, mate.
There's Pearce. He's got possession. Beats a couple. Goes down towards the attacking 50. Storming up the ground. Schultz in hot pursuit. There was Rivers. Hot ball comes to Ebert. Ebert finds a way through. Beautiful kick. And Butcher really sided today. 55 metres out. In he comes. Sends it on its way. They'll compete about 5 metres out and Westhoff. Someone look at him. Just make sure he doesn't go. They didn't. Well, I suppose it doesn't matter. He probably would have kicked it from the set. But by the same token, there was a chance of maybe throwing yourself across that boot. He's got how many? 3.
It's those big guys, they just don't get any smaller, do they? The longer the game goes, the defenders get tired from jumping. That was such a simple mark in the end of Westhoff, and Dean Brogan just spoke about that, about how simple the game plan was going to be in this final term. Just get it in there long, see whether or not they could get a contest, and that was just sheer strength there.
So how many runs have Melbourne got in them? Westhoff started the season round 1. He kicked 4 against Collingwood. He won the medal in the first showdown. So he's had some moments. He's had a very good day today, hasn't he?
He's been the pick of their tall forwards today. No question about that.
He's kicked 3, so he's going to start the season well with 4 against the Pies and probably finish it on a high note. So have the D's got one last surge in them. They need it. Brogan talked about the clearances. Gray from Roden. Bang. Butcher. No, couldn't quite. Thought he was good. Belted it over the line. It does take me back, Dennis, to growing up in Adelaide and those big finals we used to come to at this ground. And when Port won those 6 in a row, I think 3 of them were by under a goal against West Adelaide and Norwood. Oh, gone! He's going to kick a 4th, you reckon, Westhoff?
Wow.
Well, memory lane just turned into a highway quickly. But Port always won. They always used to win when you were here at the Adelaide Oval growing up. They won 23 premierships here, Port Adelaide. They've got 36 in total, but 23 on this ground.
That's spoken by, or it sounds like it was, a man who didn't barrack for them.
Norwood.
There's a bit of bitterness in there.
So Westhoff gets 4, starts the season with 4 and finishes it with at least that many.
Look at that lunge. That is just a fantastic bit of desperation. We've seen 5 smothers in this last quarter from Melbourne, but then just that desperate lunge, and the kids are really enjoying their vantage point.
That's Bruce, circa 1966, eh? Bartram goes after it. Still working, Bartram. Tries to back out of the pack, nothing doing. The umpire will ball it up. So they've skipped away. They're up by 14. Just under 8 minutes to go. And the crowd now in a frenzy. This is great for the state of South Australia, really. Not just Port supporters. Well done by Gray. Sends it back. Pierce along the boundary line. And right just taken by Boak. He's had some good moments this afternoon, Boak. Nothing more inspirational than the spiral goal after the siren at quarter time from outside the 50. And even he's chimed in with 3 goals, all of them in the first half. And he just settles. A man for the occasion. It's in the genes. Built him up a bit, Bruce.
He's always a chancey, but he's a long bomb, isn't he?
You like it from here?
Well, he's a 50-50 chance from here.
Yeah, not the right side for a left footer. It's going to require his best. Kick is on the way, and this one just virtually shaved the post on its way. He was riding it home every inch of the way.
Well, Garland's gone and grabbed the ball again, so his nerves aren't shot yet.
Well, they've got one last chance, you reckon. There's still enough time for Melbourne. They've kicked 3 goals in a hurry a few times today.
They've gone the double huddled here, Bruce.
Trying to get the Viney vacuum going, and well, Brogan. I'll talk about that one for a bit. To Pierce, and then Pierce goes bang with a high one to full forward. It's going, and Loby's got it. It was a high draft pick, Loby.
It's the big boys, though, isn't it, that have really come to life in this last quarter. I mean, the mark, we saw that double huddle last week, the Viney vacuum. They went for it again, didn't work. Brogan read it well.
He's never kicked a goal before, Loby. He has now, and you'd reckon they're home.
Good, strong mark there from Brogan.
See, that's passing the baton, Brogan to Loby, isn't it?
That's right. And this good, long, deep kick from Pierce, though, too. I mean, that just puts enormous pressure on a defender.
In the last 15 minutes, Port have seized control and kicked 4 goals to none. Is there a final sting in the tail? Jamar, they'll have to be quick. Banner kicks it down towards half forward. Melbourne have to hold here. Cassisi just lays it off. Schultz to Roden. Roden's been good. Goes out wide. Motlop, who can kick it a mile. Motlop does kick it a mile. Kilometre, whatever you like. But he's off target. We're sort of reminiscing so much. We're talking miles and inches this afternoon.
We probably shouldn't forget they gave up a 34-point lead late last week against the Bombers, but you just don't get the feeling that with this crowd that's become so involved in the game there, that we're going to see something like that happen.
So Rivers drives it towards the centre square. Trengove came hard. Half chance for Brogan. Trengove comes again, claimed by his namesake, and we'll have a ball up, Bruce.
The only trouble about today, Dennis, is that after today we've got to wait 2 more years to get back here. You know something good out there, but you've got to be patient.
That's right.
So McKenzie's handball out wide. Jones. You'd love the D's to make one more run here. It deserves a grandstand finish. Morton with a dummy, and then a long ball forward. Green was in the contest. Ebert's in the back half now. He wants it out of play. We know that. And he runs it out of play. He's had a good day, Ebert.
Yeah, he's been outstanding, hasn't he? I mean, he's turned the clock back about 3 or 4 years, Ebert. There's Greg Anderson there.
Yeah, what a great left footer he was. Port Adelaide Magpies, and of course in the AFL, the Bombers. Did you play with him, Tim?
Yep, I played a number of years with him at Essendon. Long striding wingman he was.
So Martin maybe keeps this alive, eh?
Yeah.
He kicked a beautiful goal earlier in this match in the second quarter. This to keep the D's in the game. He struck it well. He's got it.
So the margin, 16 points now. Port on top. 5 minutes to go. That's the equation. And the crowd really riding it out. Nothing easy about this win. And if they do, it will be only the 3rd of the season. Stumble from Bate. Banner swings it to the outer side. Leading in the race out there is Motlop. Well, Motlop, not sure what he was thinking there. Taken by McKenzie, a throw. Motlop gets the 3. He's had a good afternoon, Motlop. It's worked from the very good to the not so good, but when it's counted, he's done some wonderful things. He's on the wing. He's going for distance. Down towards the 50. In front, great mark, Martin.
Well, Butcher's done and dusted down here for the day. They're icing him up. It looked like it might be a groin complaint.
Jones, no space to operate in. It came, I think, off. Oh, please.
What was he supposed to do then?
It is tough, isn't it? Richo, if Melbourne got one last run in them, do you think?
Oh, it's going to be tough. This crowd is really behind them. There's no doubt it's lifted Port Adelaide today. This little boutique stadium packed. It's given them a real lift, so it'll be pretty tough for the D's.
And it's at the wrong end at the moment. Martin again, the big fly. Well done, Rivers. Running, trying to create.
Oh, no.
Dangerous handball. Bale was fantastic there to Jones. Jones with a little sidestep and then kicks the ball out wide. O'Shea comes in, can't quite. Tringove, but O'Shea's done well. Tringove under pressure. McKenzie over the top to Jones. Jones to Bale. Well played. Goes to full forward. How? Not quite. Almost trapped it back in. Should have left it for Tringove. The other Tringove has got to get it out now. Howe's over the top. Where's the footy? It's going to be a ball up.
Gee, there's been some great gut running from Melbourne players in this last couple of minutes, hasn't there? Bale, you mentioned it, McKenzie streaming out of the midfield. Just take a look at the congestion around this stoppage zone.
I don't know anything about how, but I reckon his footy hero would have been Russell Robertson. He's been likened to him. I thought that might have been a bit of a reach last week, but gee, puts himself about. Scramble, 25 metres out, directly in front of Melbourne's goal. The clock their enemy, but there is time. They need a quick goal here.
Need somebody to come over the top here. Third man up.
Martin has been terrific in the last 10 minutes or so. Opts out of this contest. Comes wide of the pack to Westhoff. Breaks things open, though, for Melbourne. Mightn't be the worst thing that's happened. Now an opportunity for Rivers. Looks inside the 50. Sets it up. Green will fly from the side. And Green's taken the mark. Green directly in front. Needs to kick this. Stop the clock. Probably about 2:50 thereabouts remaining, and the margin will be back to 10 points. 2 straight kicks. They can win Melbourne. What a remarkable game. It's lurching from one side to the other as the Melbourne captain kicks the goal.
Well, you talked about him, Tim, at three-quarter time and through the match. He's kicked a couple. He can be a match winner.
Rivers, there's a couple of short options on them, but they're just trying to get it there as deep as you can. You just wonder, a player of his calibre, just watch this. There's not one player near him when he's actually jumping at that ball.
See, I don't know I'd be sending Fitzpatrick on now. You need a ground player down there, don't you? Jenner, you need some legs. Jenner's off the ground. He might be spent.
Well, McKenzie's still running, though, and Bale is still running, too.
We might get this grandstand finish we've been looking forward to. The D's have kicked the last 2. When Lobe kicked that goal, Port looks safe. They've had problems through the year, winning matches when they've been in front, and there haven't been too many of them. Bate out wide. Maloney's been magnificent. Kicks the ball to half forward. Good fly by Howe. Well done by Pearce, though, at the back. An unlikely spoiler on that occasion. And Melbourne all over the top, and there'll be a ball up.
They're just going to push all their numbers up, Port Adelaide. I mean, they're still playing a six-man forward line. I mean, that's not what they need to do now. They've got to make sure that they fill in all the spaces. Another almost mark here by Howe.
Jonas is really wobbly here, the young Port Adelaide player. There he is, 42. Bang, look at that.
Yeah.
And he's coming off the ground. Well, he's still there, but he's in another land. So Ebert, does he keep the ball in? He sure does. Centre wing. McDonald forced off it by Broadbent. Port just need to get one more forward thrust, and you reckon they're home here. But there's still time for Melbourne. Every clearance now vital.
Really good body play there by Broadbent too.
Yep. And then Salah, Broadbent and Salah pick. They've both been good today. Centre wing.
Holding J-Mar.
So Melbourne get the free. They get the clearance.
She's got to move this on quickly. Come on.
Yeah. Clock starts to run now.
Taking far too much time.
To Bate. Bate into Mines. Good kick under the circumstances to McKenzie. Now he'll reel around. He spots Green, and Green's done it again. Oh, terrific lead, Green. I was watching him, and as McKenzie got into his turn and the G-forces started to work, Green got on his bike. So if he kicks this, they've got enough time. Green, what a big kick for the captain. This one is swinging. Oh, he's missed. He's missed. 9 points the difference.
Port Adelaide have to get numbers behind the ball now and just clog it up. It's been 1-on-1 inside Melbourne's forward 50 for the last minute. Now's the time for some loose men.
Gee, that looked a great chance in running, didn't it? So Port bang it out. Westhoff, Lobie, big flyers. Jenner tapped it forward. Came off Watts. Tapscott, Lobie. Didn't quite clear it. Rivers, this will suit Port though. That's a good result.
They're safe now. They've still got two. They've got two back at the moment, Port Adelaide. All their other numbers have pushed up, which is exactly what Richo was talking about, and they needed to do. They've just got to turn this into as much of a scramble as they possibly can. Just take away all the space from Melbourne in their forward line.
So Lobie over the top, into the back by Maloney. It's a pity because he has played such a game, and the guy with the footy has probably been as good as anyone also for Port Adelaide and Ebert.
Only 34 possessions. Ebert, 21 now, beyond the wing, off hands. Last roll of the dice and then some. Jones. Bale's been very good. Garland, one blemish in this term, but he's played well this afternoon too. Bale slams it forward. They need a goal, and they need it in the next 5 seconds. And even then, it won't be enough, I don't think. How? And as much as the time consumed to kick that goal, unless it's a snap, will mean they can't win. There'll be a ball. No. Now, who is at the base of that? It's a Port player. Well, the clock, I think, is going to run out on Melbourne. The clock is continuing to run. He needs to place the ball on the ground quickly, the Melbourne player, and stop the clock. Well, this is an anticlimax. Maloney after the siren. Can't change the result. Misses. But what a terrific game. And the celebrations are on in earnest. 17-10 Port Adelaide. They win by 8 points over Melbourne, 15-14. And coming back to Adelaide Oval, football travelled first class this afternoon. And who would have thought two of the lesser lights of the competition have put on something of a classic. Let's go down to Richo.
Well, Dane, that was a magnificent game. What a way to finish your career. You must really enjoy that.
Oh, mate, I might come out of retirement after that. Oh, that's just unbelievable. This is, the future looks bright coming here, and yeah, oh, what a game. What a game. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Fantastic.
So the players really loved playing here today. The atmosphere was amazing.
Oh, mate, we actually said at three-quarter time, I looked at Robbie Graham and said, look at this. Absolutely fantastic, and yeah, can't wait to get in. I won't be here actually, but the boys, good on them.
What about the future for the club, mate, and yourself?
Yeah, look, mate, the club's in good hands. It hasn't worked out in the win-loss column, but, you know, with the young guys re-signing, it just shows what we're about and where we're heading. And it's been a tough year, no doubt, on and off the field, but every club goes through it, and, you know, we're only a matter of time before they get back up there. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing, mate. Probably out of a job, man.
So you'll find something. Well done and a great career.
Thanks, Richo. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
What's happened with these stayed South Australians, Bruce? What about this celebration? I mean, if Channel 7 were looking for a studio audience for Deal or No Deal, you can just jump the fence, grab any 100 at the moment, and stick them in the studio. This is terrific.
They'd be hyper, all right. I reckon Crows fans right now be saying, can we have a bit of this? I mean, it really has gone way beyond just this match for the whole city. Really, you feel like there's a new beginning, but we'll have to wait a bit for it. So for Brogan and Jamar, both played in the SANFL. Brogan, of course, won an NBL title. I mean, what an amazing... He's won a national basketball title and a premiership in the AFL.
Bruce, I was here 2 weeks ago. We had a big dinner put on by Channel 7 in Adelaide, talking to a lot of football people. There was so much doom and gloom in the room. Well, gee whiz, here we are a week and a half later, and hasn't it turned around? This is wonderful.
And Port off the bottom for the first time since round 16. So the Suns get the spoon that Port Adelaide so desperately wanted to avoid. So just a great match. A great match. The famous scoreboard says it all right there, doesn't it? 112 to 104. Can't wait for next week. The Sunday, Carlton and Essendon, and the Friday night. What about that? The Cats and the Hawks, Friday night at the G. Adelaide Oval. was the big winner today. It was just a wonderful afternoon. We look forward and reflect on just a wonderful day. Port win 112 to 104.